Yeah, the power of hype compels you. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Pen and Pixels number 167. Today is D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. I am your humble host and Dungeon Master Arvin Elleron. This is the show we do here every Tuesday, usually starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, although we're starting a little bit earlier now to accommodate the daylight savings stuff not being quite on sync. In a couple of weeks, Europe and the U.S. will be, again, connected with each other. But in the meantime, we're going from 3:30 to 6:30 tonight. I want to thank Blackheart, who's going to be streaming right after me, for being willing to start a little bit later so that we can get our full 3-hour session in as we continue with D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much to Fraswar for what looks like it was an amazing stream, and thank you to everybody for checking us out during the World of Vampires thing. But thank you, everybody. It's been a great pleasure to have everyone here, and I am looking forward to some Dungeons and Dragons with all of you. But before I get there, I do want to do that. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. And I do want to make one quick announcement before we get into D&D with GOG. We got the full crew. And that is, I have asked for the stream team's indulgence, and they have permitted me one. And that is, I want to show you all this. This right here is the Kickstarter, which launched for my D&D 5e compatible level 1 to 3 adventure called Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. This is not only an adventure, it is also a source book, and just launched today from Alligator Alley Entertainment about 3 hours ago. You may notice, I'm not going to play the video for you right now because it's not my channel, but you can check that out. And the link to this, in case anyone is curious, I'm going to put in chat right now, right there. That is the link to this Kickstarter. Now, this is not only an adventure which is based upon, let me move this out of the way for a second, which is based upon the adventures that I run for the Gen Con Writers Symposium. The Gen Con, many of you know about Gen Con, which is the largest writing track now in North America. It's a huge gaming convention, but has the largest writing track of any convention in North America. There's a Writers Symposium there, and I run these adventures for that group. In fact, I'm doing my third adventure for this group coming up in late July, early August. So these adventures are now being bundled together and will be published by Alligator Alley Entertainment. And not only is it going to be the adventure itself, but it is also, thank you for the follows, everybody, but it is also, in addition to that, going to be a source book. So this is the kind of thing that actually can fit into any D&D style campaign, any 5e compatible campaign. There are even preset characters that you can use if you wish, or you can bring your own. And some of the contributor lists are pretty amazing. People like, for example, Cat Rambo, and let me increase the size of the window again. Cat Rambo, who is the president of the Science Fiction Fantasy Writers of America and a award-winning author in her own right. Carlos Hernandez, who is a writer who just had a new book come out, Sal and Gabby Break the Universe. Michael Underwood, good friend of mine, who is also the co-host of mine on my podcast Speculate, which is an actual play podcast. Also an author with a number of published books, and a bunch of game designer contributors as well. Kenneth Haidt, who is pretty well known, multiple origins and any award-winning designer. Will Hindmarch, Darcy Ross, Hal Mangold, James Introcaso, some of you may know if you know stuff about D&D, Greg Marks, Sean Merwin, Aaron Rosenberg is going to be doing this as well, and we have many other contributors that are waiting to go, secret contributors you might say, that are going to be jumping on board with this. The other cool thing about this, and the last thing I'll mention, is about the pledge levels. So the $15 level will actually get you a copy of the PDF of this, whereas the PDF, which you can get for yourself, a physical copy is $30, and the reason for that is because it could get pretty sizable as we get more funding and support over time. So it's not just the adventure, it's actually a source book that will have a number of references to tomes in that library, so different spells, possibly weapons, maps, bestiary things, and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty cool. You would have been among that official, now it's unofficial. I dig it. So that is the physical copy of that, which you can get for $30. And if you pledge $35, you get both the physical book and the PDF for $35, which I think is a fairly good deal. The last two notes I want to make is if you pledge at the $200 or more level, you will get your picture in the book, and you can even work with the commissioning artist. This could be a picture of you, sort of drawn picture of you, or it could be a picture of your character that you would like to send along or have them design for you, which would show up in the book, so that would be pretty sweet. And then the last one is $250. If you support that, now there's only 2 of these left. This is limited to 3. And one of of them is already taken earlier this afternoon, and that is I will run a 4-hour online game session for your group of up to 5 players. This level will also include a physical copy and PDF of Tales and Tomes for the Forbidden Library. You do not have to run that particular adventure. I can run another one-shot for you if you like, but that is available to you if you support at that level. And then as you can see, stretch goals, full color at 100 backers, we get full color throughout. Hardcover at 200 backers, high-resolution digital maps at 300 backers. So a lot of good stuff here, which I'm very excited about. We are currently sitting at $691, and I have already told the players that if we reach $1,000 during this stream, I will give them a free inspiration. I will also do a giveaway for all of you. So I will do a giveaway of a computer game if we reach that $1,000 level during this session. So I promise I'm not going to talk about this incessantly on GOG because it isn't my channel, but I really do appreciate GOG being kind enough to allow me to just talk about this briefly because I'm super excited about it for reasons you might be able to tell. This is one of many publishing projects I'm going to be involved in. A few publishing projects I'm going to be involved in this year, and this is going to be a big one. So I'm hoping that folks will be able to jump on board, and thank you for indulging me as I talked about it. Now I'm going to unmute myself so the folks know that we are ready to go. And then I am going to unmute them as I hear laughter coming as we speak. And now I'm going to slide over here because I can never know exactly what it is that we're going to find. And there they all are, laughing about something. God knows.
And then it was left with the stumpy bloody footprints. I don't know what was wrong with the garbage disposal after that.
That's why I'm not allowed to cat sit anymore.
We were trying to find out why garbage disposals are so dangerous.
Why? What was so dangerous?
Garbage disposals, like the sink of doom they have in the US.
Yes, those are very, very dangerous. Let me tell you though, if you don't have a sink with a garbage disposal, it can smell things up after a while. It is better because just food gets in the sink and it's bad. I don't know how we got on that subject, but welcome everybody. The full crew is here. We do not, of course, have Fleos with us, although Fleos will be making his return, not today, but he'll make his return at a future adventure, future session of the adventure. But we do have our regular crew, which is currently in the Eye of the Allfather, and we will talk more about that, but not before I have a chance to introduce all of them. I will begin with the very chipper and looking happy and pleased Pyron Jade right below me, the head of the stream team, who's feeling pretty happy right about now, I think. And so how are you doing, Pyron? How's life with you? And who are you playing in the adventure today?
Life is chaotic in real life and wonderful with the stream team currently. We're doing 3 days of vampire-themed streams. Also, GOG has a vampire collection app, which features a mystery game. And that mystery game was actually linking to a landing page for a while today. So there were some hints about the mystery games on there, but right now it's linking to us. So welcome, everybody. You're seeing, well, some people of the GOG stream team were actually, I think, nearly 20 currently. So we stream like all week, lots of different stuff and lots of different time zones, and we're really, really happy to have you here. I'm the stream team coordinator. I usually don't stream, but I will be on tomorrow with Civilization 4, Fall from Heaven 2 mod, playing the vampire race, Color Beam, of course. But tonight I'm playing Greta Goldenfire, Dwarven Cleric of Foltus. May his light shine on your way. And yeah, the rest you will see today, I guess.
Wow, listen to that super pro introduction. It's like Greta Goldenfire, just like firing it all out, hitting all the bingo. I love it. It's good stuff. I look forward to seeing how Greta handles things. There was a little bit of fire and ice going on during our last session, as we'll talk about in just a moment. Moving right on down the line, we have someone who also had an eventful last session, but was able to make it out alive as usual, which seems to happen to Celcid quite a bit. And that, of course, is Dark Saber 2K. Hello, Saber. How's life and the universe? And how are you doing, sir? And who are you playing today?
Life is good, a bit busy at the moment, and I will be playing Celcid Mauer, who has found the secret to survival is being behind lots of meat shields.
Yes, which is very true. Although I forget who it was. Was it Chai or was it Pyron who did the Master Blaster thing? Who was it that posted the thing on Twitter? It was you.
That was Dark Saber.
That thing was the best, dude. That thing was the best.
We need to buy a harness so that the halfling can stand on the half orc's back and shoot arrows.
Yes. Exactly.
And then at the end of the campaign, we will all become Voltron.
Exactly. You just need to be like, who is the master? Who is the master? Yeah, exactly. I want to see who makes Blazing Sword in that scenario. But that's awesome. I am very happy to have Darksaber with us, as always, and see how Celsig manages as we move into this dangerous place. Moving right on down the line, we have, of course, the inimitable, and he's now got the smooth, knock on wood, I'm knocking on wood, but he's got the smooth webcam, he's got the smooth, he's got the audio going, and that, of course, is our good friend Mike, also known as Screaming Joypad. Hi, Mike. How are you? How's life? And who are you playing today?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing well, to be honest with you. I've started sort of streaming again recently. For those of you who haven't really known me for a while, or haven't tuned in for a while, I've stopped streaming video games per se, and I'm moving more into the technology industry. I'm doing some stuff for work in regards to coding and stuff like that. It's very much a learn by doing exercise, so I'm just learning it by streaming it at the same time. Aside from that, I'm also enjoying consuming top tier, that's my cat, by the way, you can hear in the background. I'm also enjoying top tier content from the GOG.com stream team, both on the actual channel itself and also individually. So make sure that you find out these people's actual channel links and you follow them, because especially the people on this stream team at the moment, these guys have been producing real top shelf stuff recently, like really good stuff. It's so weird going from like a streamer on Twitch to just a consumer of Twitch. It's just this weird shift, but seeing it's an effortless transition to see people produce such high quality streams. The person I'm playing today is Urash, the half-orc barbarian and devout follower of Tempest. And I'm reasonably certain he just went ballistic during the last session and just started hacking people up left, right, and center. Although it was pretty late when we played last time, but I'm pretty sure he got some pretty solid hits in. The rest, he does have some secrets in regards to his character, but people who are fans of the show will already know that. But people who aren't, that will start to be revealed as we continue on. But yeah, super looking forward to playing. Cannot wait to start.
Good stuff. Always a pleasure to have Mike with us. Yeah, he's very mysterious, wearing a lot of black, listening to a lot of Evanescence lately. So there's a lot of mystery sort of going on.
He's just misunderstood, man. He's just misunderstood.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You don't get him.
And moving right on down the line, of course, last but certainly not least in our hearts, and that, of course, is Tasty Chai. Hi, Chai. Welcome. How is life with you and stuff? And who are you playing today?
Oh, life's been good. I've been streaming a ton.
I noticed.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's been a lot of fun. I've been playing a lot of games with my family and pushing for partner this month. So we'll see. Get back to me. But yeah, I stream on my channel 3 days a week, on GOG once or twice a week. So obviously that's just what I do. Life has been great, and I'm very excited to continue playing River, who is a silver dragonborn who has recently, I guess, been exposed as the sorcerer that she is, because the party didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. We'll see how that goes.
Yep. I look forward to actually that conversation happening in very short order, actually. But
totally forgot about that.
Yes. I was just going to let that go. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. It's a pleasure to have this great crew with us. And I do want to make one note about this, by the way. I've talked about it before as I unmute there we go. Unmuted the Firefox there. I do want to make one note, which is I've said this about my other players as well, that I feel very, very fortunate to have really, really fine players. And I want to point out for those of you watching, because we have a number of you in here right now, all of my campaigns are unusual in that having a groups with chemistry the way that my parties do is unusual. This is a group very much like that. These are very good, solid, quality players with good chemistry with each other. That is not always the norm. So if you're getting a chance to watch them play, you should feel really lucky about that, because they really are good players who enjoy doing it. So I just wanted to share the love with them because they're great, and I'm just very, very pleased that I get to DM for them. So with that said, let us get into D&D with Storm King's Thunder. The crew has been trying to figure out what is happening with the giants. What's the deal with the giants in the Sword Coast? And as they've been dealing with this, the problem of why these giants have been doing odd things like attacking towns and basically being extra aggressive and leaving where they normally would spend their time and live, the party has discovered that there must be something something kind of driving them. And recently they have finally found out more of the information about why. Apparently the reason that the giants are having all these problems is because the ordning, which is basically this order that keeps the giants intact and kind of sets up which storm giants are above cloud giants or above this giant and so forth, the ordning has been broken, and King Hecaton, who was the leader of the giants overall, has gone missing. And since that time, there's kind of a power struggle, which is not totally clear to any of the people that are currently, giants that would have any knowledge that have been able to speak to the party about it. And so that ordning has to be figured out, and some order of the ordning needs to be restored if they're to stop all of these attacks from happening, and also to find out who it is that's actually behind this, because obviously they do not mean well for the people of the Sword Coast. And so in search of this, they have decided to join with Harshnag, a frost giant, who has captured their hearts mostly by decapitating bad creatures with his axe, and has asked them to join with him as he has gone to the Eye of the Allfather, an ancient temple of the giants not known to many, where hopefully they will be able to gather some knowledge and information that they could use to tell them what's going on and how they can try to track down more information about the missing King Hecaton. And so the party agreed to do this, and when they arrived at the Eye of the Allfather, they made two unusual discoveries. First, they discovered that one of their previous members, Doran, had actually gotten there ahead of them and was trying to find out details about why there were wolves going crazy, since he happens to have a warg himself that is under his care that the party remembers from many, many months ago when they first or last encountered him. And secondly, they noticed a group of others there too, a group of barbarians that charged them and basically told them to get out. Now, the thing that's unusual about this is that these are all human barbarians, and as far as the giants knew, Harshnag knew, nobody should know from the human race of the existence of the Eye of the Allfather, let alone its location. And yet here were these barbarians that actually came and somehow made their way here first. After a rather fierce battle, during which some people kind of got hit quite a bit. In particular, Greta got taken down a few pegs in terms of her hit points. Urash also got hit. Selsig and, of course, River managed to stay completely untouched because of careful dodges, and by carefully placing Greta and Urash in front of them at the appropriate moments, they were able to stay alive. So the entire party is alive, and they now find themselves facing down the hallway, looking at the dead bodies, basically, of creatures lying in the hallway, these dead barbarians, and now deciding what they're going to do to step forward. And as they do so, Harshnag, who I believe is right here, is standing there kind of breathing heavily, looking at all of you, and says, well, I didn't expect any of this. This is very troubling, I must say.
Who are these people?
And so he bends down and he examines them and he says, wait, let me just put on my reading glasses. And that's totally what he says. And actually, I like to think of the idea that he's got like one of those like glasses around a chain on his neck. You know what I mean? Like the necklace thing. He's just like, well, let me find out then. Let me tell you.
With a monocle.
A monocle.
A monocle. That would be pretty sweet. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So he bends down to look at them, and there was also a white dragon wormling, I should mention, that was there as well. So he bends down to look at them, and he sees that all of these things, all of these creatures that are dead, these berserkers and barbarians, all of them have certain things on them, and you can explore the rest of them if you wish. But one thing that is common to all of them is this curved, what looks like almost a snake's tail, but as you look at it more closely, it looks like it's actually the tail of some kind of maybe lizard or small dragon. And it's white, and it's all curled up and sort of right around the necks of them. And so he kind of looks down and shakes his head, and he says, I had thought it might be something like this, but I don't know why it is they were able to find this place. Any of you recognize this symbol?
Is this the Zentarim?
I'll add it to my collection. No, I take one of the necklaces.
It is not the Zentarim, but in fact,
Okay.
I think all of you, if you wish, can try to make a history check for me. But Urash, you can do this at advantage. You may know
Ooh,
more
how
about this than the
exciting.
others do.
Now, if only I could find roll 20.
Well, I can't help you.
It's made of
Yeah.
things.
Celsic, you're like,
thing.
what symbols? What are symbols? You're like, I don't know.
I can do this at advantage, which is exciting.
You kind of forget
Never-
your last name, Celsic, for a minute. You're like, what?
History happens in the past.
I'm always about looking forward.
Yeah, Celtic is not burned by the past.
That's
Yeah.
That's-
Greta,
that's
you
my
don't
first.
remember either. Okay, that's your first. And River's got a
That's my
12.
second. No, 12.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, it looks like it might be
I
some
know this.
tribal symbol river in Urash, you think, but I mean, you don't know for sure.
Dang it.
So
One day I'm going to get an absolute crit on something obscure like this, and it's going to be the single most useless piece of information we need.
It'll be glorious. It'll be absolutely
But no,
glorious.
I will tell you such tales about this clay cup that we found, and I rolled it.
My
You know
great
everything
grandfather mined this
Yeah.
clay. Yeah.
Exactly.
That
Until
there
that
will
point,
be a
yeah.
day where that happens, Urash, but
This
today
is
is not
not
that
that
day. This is not that day. You just sort of, you don't really know. And he says, this is a tribal symbol. It belongs to the Great Worm tribe. You may know some of the Uthgard barbarians or heard of them before. They tend to be the scourge of civilized people, especially in the north. And many of them have traveled down and stolen many of the sacred artifacts of my people. Why they were able to find their way here is not clear to me, but if they are here, it means there is more grave robbing in the offing. I am not fond of these creatures. And you can see his kind of hand is tightening around his axe. And Harshnag, for the most part, is a pretty calm dude. Like, for the most part, he is not sort of, but he is definitely, you can see he's a little exercised at this. Also, I do want to mention that as he's sort of talking to you, I'm going to give actually Greta and Celsig and Urash, not River, but I'm going to give the three of you that I just mentioned a chance to make another history check because that may jog your memory. It wouldn't jog River's memory because she wasn't there at the time, but...
Okie dokie.
I think my dice died halfway through rolling then.
Wow.
It did look like it, didn't it?
You just got to the part where you're like, I had a parents. I had parents one point.
You didn't really roll that. You more just threw that on the table.
You just placed it on
To
the
be honest.
6. Yeah,
The physics engine is tired.
exactly.
15.
Okay. And what we got from River?
Huh? I
But
don't.
River-
Oh wait, no, I take it back. You have nothing from River because you're following my instructions because I'm an idiot. Yeah. Right. So, Urash, you remember this, although the others don't. Greta, you have some faint tickling at the back of your memory, like, yeah. But Urash, you actually remember that these are not the first creatures that you defeated that had symbols around their neck. That there were other creatures that you found that had certain tribal symbols also. And you think back to the battle that you had with the flying, creatures.
I know it.
I've got these necklaces right here.
Yeah. Well, now
was
you
gonna
know
say.
it if Urash tells you.
Pick your coat
Yeah.
for today.
Yeah.
We've seen this before. We've fought people with this mark before.
No.
Yeah, no, we have. We've got trophies of this.
No.
Celsig, you've got something. You open your pack. You've got necklaces. I'm sure we've got something of this. I remember.
Over my pack, it's like false beard goes one direction.
Yeah.
Hang on, it's in
The mustache
here.
and glasses, like.
Yeah.
The money
Hang on,
suit.
hang on. I come out holding my 3 bird necklaces. You made these?
But
Yes,
yeah,
those.
yeah, but they are completely different. These look like little tails, and those look like bird skulls.
I'm sure. No, I'm certain we've seen this before. I'm absolutely certain. Oh, do I remember where I've actually seen this? Or do I just know that I've seen it?
You think you know that you've seen it. You definitely did not see it with the Raven attackers. I mean, like, not there, but it is sort of reminding you. And mostly, It seems to be in your distant past, your own heritage, Urash, as a barbarian who had some experience growing up in barbarian and berserker tribes. You remember actually having a couple of run-ins with them. The only thing you remember, it was when you were very young, so you only have flashes, but you remember the anger that was on the faces of the people as they met your people, for whatever reason it was that you were meeting them. You don't even remember now. They were very angry, and the suspicious maybe would be the term for it, but again, it's just a flash from your youth, so you
now,
barely
do I remember
it.
this? Do I remember this positively or negatively?
Not positively.
Not positively.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd say negative as much as it's at least neutral and maybe negative. Yeah.
I've definitely seen these symbols before. I don't remember where. Maybe they were a different tribe near Palashuk. I'm not sure. I've definitely seen these before. I thought we'd seen them before. I don't think these are. Well, I'm obviously they attacked us, so they're not good people. But I don't think these are good symbols. I'm gonna need to think about this. This doesn't feel. Something about this doesn't feel quite right.
And Harshnag kind of looks at you curiously, and he says, "Indeed, friend Urash, I am not surprised. I would have expected someone of your strength and demeanor might have met them before. These are members, as I say, of the Uthgard tribes. They adopt different animals as their spirit animals, and for a time they lived with us in some peace. But then, as humans often do," and then he sort of looks around, he says, "I don't need to accept present company since none of you are human, but as humans often do, they were corrupted. Some people told them that treasures existed, that they could extend their lives, nonsense like that. And so they decided to go after the same things we did. Except, as you can tell from this," and he kind of holds up the white tail, he says, "whereas we attempt to live with and among nature, most of the time the humans take pleasure in killing it, using it as trophies, as if they were so much chattel and decoration to be placed upon their walls and the doors of their buildings. Well, we have fought some in the past. Other times we have simply made sure that the invaders were stopped and went no further. But now it seems that open war is a real possibility. And if it is true that members of this tribe have entered this place and are defiling my people's sacred places," and he kind of just stops and he turns. You can see his kind of shoulders just kind of, like his neck cracks, but like when his neck cracks, it's like a rumble, like, that kind of shakes the floor a bit. Is like, "They will understand their mistake when they find me."
Okay,
I like this.
you go
I like this.
out in front.
So
If you could lead the way, that would be fantastic.
and he
Yes.
he turns back to
Legendary
you.
giant.
He turns back to you. He says, "No, we shall go together. But before we do that, you might want to have one of you check these things out to see if you missed anything."
Already on it.
So Celsic,
You just see one of the bodies shuffling around a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Celsius just underneath it, just
Yeah. He's doing he's doing this thing.
I leave Celsic to that, and I turn to River. So, you do ice magic.
I did mention that.
When we picked up my pony, I think you mentioned it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was quite impressive, I have to say.
Really? Friend
Yes!
girl liked it?
Yes!
Yay! And I hug Greta and I'm like, "You like me!"
I would also like you without magic, that's not the point.
Oh, okay.
I just have to say very quickly, by the way, I have to jump in and say that we're currently at 666 viewers, so I don't know what to tell you, but yeah. Also, I wanted to note that we just got another backer, and I'm up to 721 on my Kickstarter, which is super exciting. I'm sorry, I promise I won't keep mentioning. I promise probably I wouldn't do it, but I'm just so excited. Sorry. Yeah, she just gave me the stare down. No, okay. I will now shut up and go back to the adventure. So, where was I? So. Yeah, so sorry, you're in the midst doing that. Are you, as you're talking to her, by the way, Urash, are you sort of off on your own thinking, or are you
No, I
close
want to go
enough
over
that
to
you can-
River.
Okay.
I want to go to River. I'm gonna place my hand on her shoulder and say, we were incredibly lucky to have you with us today, and the magic that you can do. Even without that, you're a valued member of this party and a valued member of this tribe. But having skills like that, having those up your sleeve, you really helped us out today. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And River just like starts crying and is trying to like stop.
I will kind of like pat her on the shoulder a little bit, but I'm also covered in barbarian blood, so I'm gonna so I'm just like it's like they're tiny dragons. And then I'm gonna go see if there's anything useful on the other barbarians. And useful, I mean, sharp and not
I was
curved.
gonna say like an arm, like you could bludgeon someone, but
Well,
but
actually, I'm thinking more like a shield, because I can carry a shield. So I'm thinking
Okay.
if there's a really nice looking shield or something that looks incredibly valuable, I could probably take that if Celsic hasn't already pocketed it.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Celsig's already tried to, but I will tell you what you find. I'll talk about this sort of stuff in terms of weapons in just a moment,
Yeah.
but I will say that as you are looking at this area, I want to make a quick note that in the book this refers to this as barbarians at the gate. That's cute. That's
Nice.
So on the so you've got basically these berserkers, you've got the white dragon sort of wormling, and then you've got the female Uthgard shaman that you were fighting against as well. And
Oh, I forgot about her.
so all of those are there. So the question is, which one of these do you want to sort of focus on? The berserkers, and the biggest one was a guy named Wormblood, you may remember, but he is also a berserker, clearly has similar outfit to them. So do you want to focus on him, do you want to focus on the wormling, or do you want to focus, and I'm asking I guess Celsig here, or do you want to focus on the shaman first?
I'll go after the shaman. Magic items sell for a lot.
Okay, so
I know a
shaman is
guy.
Shaman has got a couple of things. So there is a now extinguished torch. The torch is now face down in the now rapidly melting water that was created before by the big ice storm thing that you guys had going on there.
That was so cool.
It was really cool. And in addition, has this really odd thing, which you don't think you've actually ever seen before, Celsig, and that is there is this sort of strange bundle. Basically, it's this thing that looks like sticks and bones and feathers and tufts of fur and stones that are all tied together and are sort of basically around her back. I hate to use the term like a fanny pack, but it's sort of like that, kind of looped around her waist, and these things are all tied together. And that's what you notice on her. She doesn't seem to have any, gold or other items of that sort that you have, but you can definitely see that strange bundle of things that's on back.
I'll try and untie the bundle of things. There might be something worthwhile in there.
Whilst he's doing that, I'm going to move towards Wormblood.
All right.
Wormblood?
Wormblood. That's right.
Wormblood, thank you.
And by the way, that we've had so many people that are jumping on as followers. I can't say thanks to the all. So I'm just going to globally say thank you. You're all awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you look at Wormblood and you're sort of starting to look around the side of him, you notice that there are a couple of things that are unusual. First of all, tied to his, I'll talk about weapons in a minute, but tied to his belt, there is a closed sack, and it really is, it's bigger than just a pouch. I don't know that it's a huge sack, but it's bigger than a pouch. It's a bag, at least, that is tied to his belt. And around his neck, he has an amulet.
Okay, I'm going to cut the amulet off him and cut the pouch off him.
Okay.
Because I'm screw untying it, I'll just cut it and tie it again later.
Okay. All right, you do that. And then...
What does the amulet look like?
I will...
I've just made you turn to another page, haven't I?
Nonsense. What do you mean?
Nonsense.
Someone behind me in the camera's like, stretch. Okay. Right. So, I will tell you exactly what that is.
Something with asking every NPC their name. Every single NPC.
Exactly. What's your name? Hey, listen.
Oh, a tile falls off the roof and kills your character.
Exactly. This is one that I don't want to get wrong. Okay. So what you see on this thing, this has got a kind of orangish amber is really what it looks like, kind of an amber amulet. And there is what looks like a double cross carved in the top. So it's like line down and then 2 lines across. And then what looks like a closed and lidded eye below it. So there's a cross and then an eye which is closed and lidded on top of this amber stone in the back, basically, which is currently hanging, that you've just taken off.
Do I recognize this symbol? Would you like me to roll a dice?
I will have you make an Arcana check. I'm going to have you make this a
Oh,
disadvantage
great. One of my
this is,
strengths.
I was going to say, not one of your strengths. However, you can.
If I nail this now,
You know.
you know what? It's a 15.
I did ask you to make it a disadvantage, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I know. Watch, he's getting like
Come
credit.
on, lucky dice. Come on.
Oh! You're like, yeah,
that'd be a
yeah,
15.
yeah. You do actually remember, and the reason that you remember this is because this triggers a little bit more of your memory about this encounter. Now, again, you still don't remember a lot, but you think that maybe the way that you originally saw this group of people, the angry faces that I mentioned, was on a trading expedition, that you had basically gone with your family to trade with them. And you remember seeing this around another one of these people's necks, and it was also the leader of that tribe. But the thing is, you don't remember whether that tribe was the same as this tribe or the same. Presumably, it's not the same person. But you remember that the person was very the reason you remember it is because the person kept bringing their hand back to it as if they didn't want anyone to as if it were helping or doing something. They didn't want people to grab it or take it away from them, is basically a good way to put it. So that still doesn't help you in terms of what exactly it is, but you're almost positive that you've seen it before in that context.
Okay, I'll just pocket it then, and I'll tie the bag around my belt.
Okay. Fairly
I'm
heavy,
not-
by the
I'm-
way.
I'm-
There's a few objects in it of some kind.
Probably check that in a bit.
Okay. As far as the weaponry is concerned, Wormblood is carrying a great axe, which he has got, but does not have a shield. And in fact, none of these people have shields, but they have these great axes that they are using. And that is all of them with the exception of the shaman, who does not have any weapons.
Does it look fancy, or does it look like a normal great axe?
It looks like it's seen a lot of use, notched and sort of tarnished and, weathered. It looks like it's been used. It's definitely cleaved a few heads in its time. I wouldn't say that it
Okay.
looks particularly fancy, but it's definitely serviceable.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll strap that to my back.
Okay. Let's see. So that's that. I want to ask what Greta and River are doing, and then I'm going to jump back to Celsig to find out what he is doing with the bundle of sticks. But let's start with Greta and River. Greta, what are you doing?
Well, I think I just take River by the hand and we move over to the rest of the group who's apparently looting. And I would like to check if this little dragonling thing is really, really dead.
Okay. How do you want to check that?
Does it look squashed or exploded? Or
No.
both?
Poke it with a stick.
It does not look. It looks like it's on its side, lying, not moving. It is not squashed or exploded.
Can
I
I
poke
do
it
an
with a
animal
foot.
handling check?
Can you do what?
Animal handling?
It's not an animal though. It is.
Okay.
It is actually monstrous. Although I like the idea that you're literally handling the animal. Like it's not telling you how to do. You're just like I'm gonna put my hands
Yeah,
on the animal.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. Also, it's not an animal. So you can't do that. You want to poke it, Greta? You said.
I will. Can I move to his head? Maybe the head is gone or something else. Like that.
Sure,
That speaks to me like this thing dead.
So you go around to the front, and you are somewhat horrified to see its eyes open and its mouth open, but it's not moving. It's just staring.
It's also not breathing or
No.
anything like. No.
Doesn't
Okay.
look like it.
Whew, okay, it's dead. Yay.
Suddenly, it moves a little bit, And then you look over and you see that River accidentally bumped into it. It's kind of like...
I nearly like fall over backwards and stare at River like you nearly gave me a heart attack there.
I'm sorry, what did I do?
You bumped into it and it moved and I thought it might still be alive.
Oh, sorry. I was just checking to see if it had meat.
You wanted to eat it. It's a dragon and you're a dragonborn.
It's not a dragon. It doesn't look anything like me. It couldn't even talk.
We don't know if it couldn't talk. We didn't really give it time for a speech.
Well, it could have said hi before trying to kill us, so now it's food.
No, it's not food. I'm pretty sure you did. I don't think you eat dragons. No.
Okay.
Show me where that's written down. I yell from the shaman.
You yell what?
Show me where that's been written down.
Yes, where is it written?
I yell back at Celsic. I think parts of dragons are really, really valuable and can be sold.
Well, we won't eat those bits then.
I think the skin and stuff.
Skin it, take its claws.
Can I make a roll whether I know whether dragon part?
I'm me, because I like to keep up on the value.
That's right. Well,
Suddenly, everyone just descends on this tiny worm. They're just like, I want this bit. Look like this dragon scales is back on the menu.
it's like a terrible outtake of Don't Starve. Just like So what you know, Greta, first of all, I want to point out that we just hit 981, so we just got a big boost on the Kickstarter. So that means we're very close to your inspiration, so just pointing it out.
If his Kickstarter reaches 1,000, we get inspiration. Just saying.
Yes.
Also, Arv gets inspiration, but a different kind of inspiration.
Yes.
Inspiration Don Luck 84 means that basically they get the opportunity to, on an ability check or an attack roll or a saving throw, roll the die twice and take the higher result. So it's a big advantage, and disadvantage is the opposite. It means you roll both dice and you have to take the lower of the two results. So that's what inspiration is. In answer to your question, you do know that these creatures, these dragons, now this is just a wormling, but you know that there have been, of course, great armor that has been made out of dragons because the scales, of course, are very, are very strong without being incredibly heavy. The problem is that this thing, you probably could actually make a kind of dwarf-sized, anyway, scale mail out of it, but it would take time because you'd have to be able to, remove the scales. Like, basically, you need to cut them off and then figure out a way to transport them. You might be able to gather enough of them together that you could put them in a bag and do it later, but it's just something to keep in mind that, like, it does take a little while to do, and you can't just do it in 6 hours. Okay, I made myself some scale mail. Like, it takes a craftsman to be able to do it.
Is, for some, by chance, maybe a flying tower with a wizard's hat outside of the tunnel still that we're in? Because I think we ventured like 50 meters last session.
Yeah, no, so it seems. Zephyros is waiting with his tower, and in case people are curious, yes, this is a tower with a wizard's hat. I'm not joking. But he is waiting past the other side of the bridge. Oh, you might remember there's like a little, basically a narrow crossing thing over this chasm that kind of led up to this. So,
okay,
you could certainly cross over the windy, narrow, snow-covered. That's fine.
I have experience with falling down, and I'm not going to risk it today.
Okay.
And
could we leave it here and then pick it up on our way out?
Assuming no one else comes and gets it, sure.
Let's put it on the outside and maybe like cover it with a bit of snow so that it stays fresh.
Yeah, we could hide it.
Yeah, let's do that. So I take
the
tail and drag the dragonling outside.
What did you ask me? I'm sorry.
Sorry, how big is it? Because you said small wormling, I think, last time. So I was imagining like a pet size, like no bigger than a small dog.
Oh, no. So a pet dragon is a little different.
Just for anyone who hasn't figured it out, I don't play a lot of
D&D. It is a medium-sized. It's a medium-sized creature, so it's probably more like the size of a horse.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought like pony-sized is what I imagined.
A little bigger than that. Dragon wormlings are dragons. Dragons are big. Big.
Oh,
But
okay.
now remember,
It's
the size of a
the
horse doesn't mean the size of a,
thing.
yeah. The size of a horse does not mean the size of like 5
Warhorse.
school buses, right?
Yeah.
I'm teaching a Wizard of Earthsea in my fantasy fiction course at the moment, and so there's this sequence where Ged, it's a great book by the way, but there's a sequence where Ged is battling these dragons, and these dragons come at him, and basically they're kids of the big dragon that he has to deal with, and so it says the one that was coming at him, it was the size of a small longboat. So like a 40-oared ship was like the smallest dragon that he was battling, and he's like, oh. So anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's drag it out.
yeah.
Let's drag it outside.
Okay.
So legitimately, there's more than enough here that we could take the scales and make at least one decent set of dwarfish scale.
I would
armor.
say so. Probably not.
Given the craftsmanship.
Right. I was going to say not for anything larger though. Probably. And I mean,
No.
Selsig. It could fit Selsig too, I guess. I don't know whether Selsig wants to run around in scale mail, but
Probably.
No, he has his suit made of money. It's fine.
I had this image of it being shiny white, like how useful that would be for him when he's stealthing
Just like
around,
gleaming
like
white,
rattling.
yeah.
It looks so good. Anyway, yes. So probably you would think so, but it would take time to do, and again, craftsmanship.
Yeah, let's just drag it outside and
Okay.
hope that we come back this way.
I'll help carry out. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you do that. You bring them out. Again, you have to drag it, but you're able to do so. And then kind of put it in the snow, which is piled up near the entrance. Are you covering it completely or covering it mostly?
Yes.
Or okay.
I would say cover it completely, and then we'll just remember where it is.
Okay. That sounds good. Let me jump back now to Selsig, who was looking at the bundle of sticks. When you open it up, Selsig, it mostly seems like a connection or a collection of, I mentioned, these sticks and bones and feathers and tufts of fur. You notice there are a couple of markings on the stone, but you can't make them out. They look like some kind of like, as if there's kind of this reddish ink that looks maybe like dark maroon that is used to make several symbols that look kind of unfamiliar to you, sort of spirals and squares. You don't recognize it at all. The dark maroon thing, ink, could be dried blood, maybe, possibly, he said. But that's what the symbols look like.
I just start grumbling to myself about lousy, no good barbarian raiders being a disgrace to their heritage. And just bad temperedly kick the bundle down the corridor.
Damn it.
Did Wormblood, or whatever his name was, God, is his name Wormblood?
Yes, that's what he said his name was.
Right, thank you. I have a Lord of the Rings board game next to me with Grima Wormtongue on it, and I keep thinking of the name Wormtongue because I keep seeing his face out of the corner of my eye. So did Wormblood have anything else on him?
Besides the things that I mentioned, he's got the great axe, but other than that, he just had the sack and the amulet. And the
Okay,
amulet.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I walk over to Selsig. Have you found something interesting?
Not even remotely.
Sorry?
I'm gonna walk over to Greta.
I'm standing next to Selsig and have a look, baby. He finds something interesting.
I found some sticks.
Like tent sticks or small sticks?
They're now scattered down the hall, by the way.
I pick up a stick and have a look at it. What is it? I think I was closing the window when you described the stick.
It's got like these tufts of fur, so it's part of this bundle, and it's got these tufts of fur and stuff like that, and there's a set of sticks and bones and stones. A couple of the stones are marked with this dark reddish liquid and with some strange symbols you don't recognize, kind of like a spiral and then a few other things, but no symbols that make any sense to you.
Can I make a religion check to see whether this might have some ritual use?
Sure, absolutely you can. I would say that's enough. Greta, that there are some cultures that have religious rituals that require certain artifacts that have been gathered together or even touched by spirits as they see it. And so it's quite possible that this was something which the shaman had gathered together and sort of collected to provide some kind of magic power. Whether it does or does not provide magic power is unclear, but you are not, none of you are Uthgard shamans, and so, it may not affect all of you. But yes, that's what you know about it.
Huh. Did you also throw away the stone with the markings?
It's all down there. It wasn't very interesting.
It's just lying on the
I
floor.
pick it up and take it with me.
They didn't even collect shiny bits of stone.
Yeah, everybody should do that.
What primitive people do. These didn't. Apparently they didn't get the note.
Well, they had a dragon. That's pretty valuable.
Yeah.
Also, didn't one of them have like a really shiny armor thing?
Well, he didn't, or she didn't.
I remember one of them attacked us had a cool armor.
Cool armor.
Yes, one of them was wearing scale armor of some kind. Yes.
Well,
sure.
I'm trying to remember.
I think-
I remember the scales on the dragon, and I remember
Yeah.
the.
One of them was wearing an armor that is described like a not a breastplate, but some kind of upper body.
Probably
armor.
Wormblood, but I don't actually remember exactly how I described it. Probably Wormblood, but the armor that he possesses is rent. I think that's what actually happened. He had this armor that has been sort of rent and destroyed because you guys kind of wrecked
Whoops.
him.
Sorry.
So yeah,
Well,
there wasn't
you
much
cannot-
left of him afterwards.
you cannot always spare the clothes when you're killing people.
That's true.
This is very true.
That's true.
Don't hit the loot.
That's the real tragedy here. That's
It
the
could
real
be
Don't
witchy,
kill
and then
them.
this happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's only shiny till we hit it. Greta.
Yeah.
I found an amulet, and I don't know what it means, but I think I know what it means, but I don't really know what it means. I show Greta the orange amulet with the sideways cross and the eye. Does this mean anything to you?
Religion check, or what do I do?
You can do. You can make I would actually have you make an Arcana check here.
I don't do these things.
You're like, look at that. You
Well,
think
that looks like a magic amulet, but
now you can
Yay!
make your religion check for me. You think there's some magical quality to this for sure.
That's better.
Yeah, that's that. There's the religion check. So,
There's the cleric.
this definitely does not. You don't think this has religious significance as such. Mostly because those symbols, you think have more magical significance than anything. You think this is magical of some kind, and it was worn, remember, not by the shaman but by the leader, Wormblood.
River, I think we found something magical. Can you say something about this?
Can I? Is
You
that
can-
Arcana?
You can do an Arcana check if you wish. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone is just like, nope.
No.
Okay, so how many do you add to that?
0. It's an
Oh, right,
intelligence. I'm
okay.
charisma.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Of course you
well,
are.
you're like, I think that's an amulet. I think.
I like nibble on it. Is it edible?
It's
Definitely not edible.
not food.
I don't think it has any religious. I don't really know what it is. I'm sorry, Urash. I've not seen something
So-
like it before.
So it may not be religious, but it could be fancy. And by fancy, I mean made of magic.
Yes.
Can we throw it at
fancy.
something? Let's throw it
Can
at
I
Ah, throw it at
Examine
something.
how
My
fancy-
amulet. It's my fancy amulet.
Say?
No, I haven't found anything fancy. I put it back in my pocket really quickly.
I just want to tell you how fancy it is. I'll
No.
keep your hands behind my back the whole time.
That
No,
is shiny.
wait, actually, no. Celtic, being a ranger of the north, could you cast detect magic?
I will not bow to this ranger of the north, in air quotes.
Okay, I will. We just started our adventure. I mean, we have like walked from the tower.
We've literally not moved.
We're like 1 hour into our adventure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Speaking of which, I am probably going to move down the hallway towards Parshnag. Yeah, Celtic.
I'm bored now. I'm off.
I just like, I've got my fancy amulet and my new axe. It's fine.
I'm sulking. I'm off.
I've got a mystery bag too.
I'm
I don't know what's in the
kicking
mystery
this
bag.
thing
So-
down the corridor as I go to.
And
I just
Harshnag is basically like,
you wish you had a mystery bag.
and Harshnag says, perhaps the time has come for us to move on then.
How badly hurt do my companions look? Well, I think it's only Uraj and me that look hurt in some way, right?
Yes.
I'm doing pretty good at the minute.
You're doing pretty good. Well, that's
I'm not. I'm wounded, but I'm not like, oh god, I need help. Wounded. Without specific, on a scale of
damage.
I look pretty dire, so I'm gonna take a moment here and do this. Wait,
on a scale of 0 to 75, I'm at about 56. Without giving you specifics.
Yeah, no.
obviously.
I mean, that's...
I heal 5 for myself.
Okay, so 43, I think.
Yes, that helps a bit.
Okay. I also want to mention, by the way, that as you're sort of looking around and talking with each other, you all notice that Doran and his warg seem to have gone.
I'd wonder
Where'd
that.
he go? Where's the puppy?
There must have been a trapdoor.
I don't
Is
know.
that- did-
Smell the puppy. They just disappeared.
Now, did we realize that he'd gone somewhere, or
Not exactly. There
there?
was a lot of confusion at the end of the fight, and so...
His puppy was nearly dead, and I
Right.
barely saved it.
Right.
Nearly got his puppy killed twice. I'd have left in his place as well.
yeah, I'd have dumped us. Sorry,
And in fact, I did. He
Yes,
takes
I did.
off his mask. It's actually the wolf, like, instead of Celtic. Darn.
yeah, that's fine. I'm sure he's okay, right? I mean, he's your
Yeah.
friend.
But I
So,
wanted to make sure
you
the
guys-
puppy was okay.
I'm sure the puppy's fine.
He
I'm
cares
sure-
for the puppy. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they are somewhere safe. And if they're inside the temple, we should also venture on inside and see if we can find them.
Very true. Very true.
So when you come up to these doors up here, you can see that these are basically a set of steps that lead upwards.
Can I just take a moment, just half a second out, just to recognize the fact that we spent 3.5 hours pondering whether or not to go past those green lines last time, and now we're just like, it's fine, it's totally fine, don't worry about it.
Yep.
Literally,
The
the
barbarians came-
entire stream.
Well, but, I mean,
The entire stream.
it is
was
amazing, though, how
unplayed.
part of that happens once you've had a chance to see people go through it, and you're like, all right, well, they didn't
And
die
not
or did
die,
die.
yeah.
Well, they died,
Well,
but
they
not that.
That's true, yeah.
It's early stream recklessness. We're just like, whatever, let's just
we're
stop.
fine. We're immortal, yeah.
We're
I just
invincible.
healed 5 hit points. What could ever happen?
I should mention as well, by the way, because I don't think I showed this before, that above you as you go down this way, you can also see that there's actually a ledge up here, and that there are what look to be alcoves on either side. Now, you are not, arrows of death do not rain down on you or anything like that, but you definitely see that there are alcoves both to the north here, up here, and to the south down here.
And how high up are we talking?
The ledges are, so the ceiling is about 60 feet high, and the ledges are about 20 feet above the ground. There are no railings or battlements up there.
Okay.
Just to
So
take
let's
I
go.
could sort the party into
How-
a
how-
pyramid.
How high was the ledge?
20 feet off the ground.
Pretty high.
Dude, I could throw you 20 feet. It's fine. I've thrown you further from horseback.
But what if they're
Meters.
just windows? Just like the lines were just a door.
We
What if
just
the windows
walk
are
on.
trapped too? Quickly, let's spend the next 2 hours deliberating over whether or not the windows are going to be trapped.
You could just throw Celtic up and he could tell us.
Like, just
Yeah, but
toss
then
him
how
up,
do you
like,
get
hey!
down?
Woo!
I'm not
You
more
just have to-
actually my way down again. Just, ah!
No, we'll catch you. It'll be toss the Celsic.
Yeah. So you say we'll catch him and then we won't. Got it. I like it.
No one's standing right next to
I was
you.
gonna, he's still here. You're like, okay,
Oh,
guys, what
right.
we'll do is, oh,
Well, charisma of like -8 or something like that. I'm not great at subtlety.
Okay, let's just walk on, and maybe if we walk up the steps, we can see from there what's on the ledge.
okay.
Can I use,
So when
low light?
I'm sorry, say you're a little quiet, Saber.
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
Can you
very quiet.
Could I use my dancing lights to get a better look at what's up there, particularly like from the steps?
Actually, it's not so much that it isn't lit. It's just where it's positioned. You can just see the edge of them, but there actually does look like there is some light emanating from those whatever they are, alcoves or, sort of gaps in the wall or something like that. So, but if you are climbing the stairs, at least if Greta and the River are, or if you guys are. So when you get to the top, you can see that these doors that are here are large, 30-foot tall, in fact, granite doors that are carved with the images of giant gods locked in battle with dragons. And as you come up to it, Harshnag sort of is walking behind you, and he says almost reverently, "This is the entrance to the Eye of the All-Father. It has been long since I have seen the inside of this place, but no time or centuries could pass that would cause me to forget what lies within. My friends, I will open this for you if you wish."
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
These definitely look like giant-sized doors, like not. So he climbs up.
Quick question
Sure.
to Mr. Harshnag, Mr. Legendary Giant Man. Do you think there's going to be anything like dangerous on the back of this?
And he looks at you with his frost dragon skull helmet, and he smiles and he says, "Perhaps, my friend, but the real danger is waiting until life ends. The only way to succeed is to march forward into danger."
Of which I have,
Yeah,
and
please.
I rub my symbol of temper, so like of which I have no doubt, and I'm completely in honor of that. I look over to my party members who are spellcasters, and I know after a while they seemingly they can't cast spells anymore because of exhaustion or other reasons. And I'm just like, I motion over to them, like, do we need to let the magic users recharge? The fancy pants people? Do we need the fancy people to sleep?
I would like.
How are
to
you
sleep.
How are you guys doing?
I would like a nap and a sandwich.
Is there any evidence that the doors have been gone through recently?
Make a investigation check for me, Celsic, please.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Oh no!
You're like, I can tell very clearly these are doors. I've seen this before.
I am
cold.
Think of us and doors in this campaign.
They are portals that lead to other places. Yeah.
It's a door, and an interesting thing about a door is it links one room to another.
Yes, exactly.
I would have thought that he gets like the opposite, like, yes, an army has marched through here.
Yeah.
Recently.
It just gets it so wrong.
It's just completely off.
This door was clearly installed yesterday.
Yeah. This looks new.
I think it's a screen door.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
door
so that's-
is made of wood.
This door is made of door. So- okay. I don't know. I'm happy to go through. I have at least 2/3 of my health left. That means I'm good to fight. But I don't know about the others.
I might not be as much use as a spellcaster to you right now, but I'm still useful as a fighter,
Yeah.
and I don't think we should. I don't think we should stall. We really should get on because somebody might be here before us. You remember? So I think we should.
Oh, that sounds
going.
good enough for me. Let's go.
Harshnag
The
turns to
giants
you.
trying to destroy the world thing, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
Harshnag turns back to you and he says, "Excellent, my friends. And let me inspire you with the news that the Kickstarter has reached $1,011. Each of you receive a Kickstarter.
Well done.
And also that that means that there is a giveaway. So in chat, what I would like is if Dizzy or Memories or one of the folks in chat, if you folks would be so kind as to run a raffle, I am going to give away a game, which will be, I think, a Humble Bundle game. And I will tell you what the Humble Bundle game is going to be. It will be a choice of one of the following. And I want to note again, Humble Bundle. It'll be a choice of one of the following: Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Deponia, or the Space Quest collection. Now, you've seen
come on, I
Takanji
think-
play the
I was
Space
just going to
Quest
say, I
collection
think
on
there's
here.
something to conjure with
Yep. So keep talking and nobody explodes. Deponia, the complete journey, or the Space Quest collection will be the winner of this raffle whenever a mod is kind enough to start it, because we hit $1,000 on the Kickstarter. Thank you all so much. That means that we are an eighth of the way there, and we're only about 4 hours in. So that's awesome. Thank you all so much. Now, let us get back into this. So when you open the doors, this is what you see. First of all, Harshnag basically throws his weight against it, and you can hear the sort of strain as the doors like gradually open. And at first you're like, is this him doing it? And you can just very faintly hear the, but not like, like, I mean, no, granite doors, like that's pretty disturbingly big and impressive, but no real problem for him. And what you find is this. This is a big room, so you're going to have to give me a second as I reveal it.
Look, shiny stones.
Yep.
Ooh,
Just as Celsic ordered.
we should take them home.
Yeah, I'm sure that will go down fine.
I'm pretty sure Harshnag will not like us to loot his temple. I'm just saying.
After he gave you this whole speech about like plundering his people, and you're like, sounds good. Can we have your stuff then? Like, because that would be great if you wouldn't mind.
Do you need all of
Are you going to
this?
need your stuff? Because this is Roll20, Zooks. Oh, and for the Kickstarter, sorry, Broff. Just because someone asked, I didn't do it. That's the Kickstarter. This is for my D&D adventure. My 5e D&D adventure, which is being released by Alligator Alley, and I'm super excited about it, and it's really cool. Okay.
You are truly an inspiration to content creators. Like the amount of stuff you put out is just awesome. Like
thank you, dude.
the stuff you do is just amazing.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that very much. Okay, this is what you see. By the way, side note, I love this map. This room in particular is really cool. So, as you open this...
That means there's more of it.
No, that's it. Isn't that enough? You want it needs to be bigger.
It's not stones. It's people stones.
It's people stones.
People stones.
Thick frost
Soylent
clings.
Green is made of people.
It's exactly. It's the Soylent Green Temple. Thick frost clings to every surface of this 100-foot high vaulted chamber. 7 enormous statues dominate the room. The largest of them is an 80-foot tall robed giant. His arms are outstretched, and his face is hidden beneath a stony cowl, facing a glowing archway in the east wall. Kneeling in rows to each side of this statue are 6 statues half its size, each impressive in its own right and depicting a paragon of a type of giant: a hill giant, stone, frost, fire, cloud, and storm. These smaller statues face the bigger one in the room's center. In their outstretched arms, 5 of the giants hold weapons, gifts for their Allfather. Only the Frost Giant statue is unarmed. And as Harshnag sees this, when he gets in, he sort of walks reverently up to this, and then drops to one knee with his eyes closed.
Okay, let's give him a moment.
Does this represent that?
Should we do the same?
I don't think so. It's not our temple. It's not our Allfather, is it?
You might get annoyed if we did.
It's the Allfather,
Yeah,
isn't it?
good,
Everyone's
good.
father.
Good point. I don't know. He's not my father. My father's alive.
I knew my father.
He
What
looks
if he's
nothing
your
like my
father?
dad.
How's your father?
Like he looks nothing like my dad.
I don't know my
Wait,
father,
I
so
have
I
to
just...
wonder.
Could we just shut up and give him a moment, damn it?
Sorry.
He stands finally and sighs and says, I am sorry, my friends. It has been so long, and yet the power you can feel in this room is so real. Allfather, how far have we traveled from you, that now we are left to keep your place of sacred honor safe from the hands of strangers? And he kind of looks back at you and says, but of course I do not mean you. This is, of course, the eye of the Allfather, and there are places here that we can discover more. Now, there's a couple things I want to describe. First of all, the archway, you'd have to get closer to see more details about this archway over in the eastern side. But behind you, you can see that there are a couple of hallways that are basically leading off this room. And then there are sets of double doors to the north, 1, 2, and to the south, 1 and 2.
I look at Harshnag. Why is the frost giant not offering something to the All-Father?
And he sort of shakes his head and he says, I do not know. That is also troubling to me. There is something strange about this.
Did they offer something when you were last in this temple?
And he says, yes, there is always a weapon, an offering given by each of the giants to them. If the weapon has been taken away, it means that someone has taken it. And there is more. And he points to the southern doors, and for the first time you can see that over these 2 doors, is what looks like a very thick, like inches thick, layer of ice over each set of these doors to the south.
Like a ledge of ice, or are they covered in ice?
Covered in ice.
Quick question.
Some way to conjure fire.
Yeah, if only.
So I guess you want to tell us that they are usually not covered in ice?
And he shakes his head and he says, no. Typically, there are ways to open each of these doors, and it is related to the statues, but ice covering it is not normally what would be permitted, no.
Okay, that is strange.
So the frost giant, which one is the frost giant in this room?
The frost giant, I believe, is up here too. Where is he? I believe that's this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
yeah, that is this one, and that's the only one that has a weapon missing. So, in fact, I can show you quickly.
Okay.
If you want, I
So
can tell you what each of these statues is holding, but that's up to you.
Please, yeah, that's it. Well,
Okay.
I got the impression from the initial description that the frost giant statue was made purposefully without holding an item.
No,
But it is basically like each statue almost has their hands outstretched holding an object.
holding an
and
object.
that object is missing from the frost giant statue.
That is
Got it.
correct. Now, the one thing I want to point out is that each object is not a part of the statue. It is its
Yeah.
own separate thing. So, and actually, Harshnag kind of points out, if you want, he will explain. He'll tell you like what each of these giants actually is.
Yeah,
So,
I will ask him. I will walk over to him and I will say, what's the significance of the offerings? What does this signify?
He says, these are the gifts that are given to Anam, the All-Father, father of all the giants, and each of us must praise him in our turn. Each one of these is one of those creatures who pledges allegiance to him, and each is one of his sons. Here, and he points up to this one, here is Grolantor, son of Anam, and the god of hill giants. And you can see in his hand there's a big bone great club. You can actually see their Urashan company. This, and he points to this one, this is Thrym, the frost giant son of Anam. He should have, as is tradition, his steel great axe, yet he possesses none. And then he points next to the one all the way to the right, this one over here. This is the god of the storm giants, Strawnmouse. He wields an adamantine trident. And indeed, this thing is like this huge-looking, like really enormous, like twice your size Urash trident that the guy's got carried. It looks real nasty. This, as he points down to the bottom right, this is one that we call Memnor, the father of the cloud giants and son of Anam. He wields a mithril spear. And again, you see this very long, kind of silvery spear that he possesses. This, the angry, the furious Sorfor, the fire giant. Sorry, Surtur, not Surfer. I was looking at like sulfur. No, Surtur, the fire giant. He carries an iron greatsword as his offering. And then last, we have a subscription from Heimdall 2020. And he cheers wildly at the subscription.
That is the greatest gift.
The greatest gift of all. Okay. Thank you very much, Heimdall. And then last, let's see, I mentioned... Oh, I'm sorry. This down here was Grolantor. I beg your pardon. That was Grolantor. This one up here, he says last of all, this top left one, is Scoreus Stonebones, the father of the stone giants. And he is literally just carrying a massive boulder. It's like a rock, basically. So we've got Scoreus Stonebones. This is the stone giant with a stone boulder. We've got Thrym, who's the frost giant, who has the steel great axe, but that's missing. We've got over here, thank you, Uncle Elias, for the resub. Welcome again to GOG. Over here, we have got the Strawn Mouse, who is the storm giant, who's got the adamantine trident. Down here, we've got Memnor, the cloud giant god, who has a mithril spear. Here, Surtur from the fire giants with an iron greatsword. And last, this one down here is Grolantor, the hill giant.
With a bone great club, correct?
Correct, that's right. He has a bone great club. Yep.
Okay. So, if you don't mind me asking, you have a collection of your most revered gods with their most legendary weapons. Are these real weapons of legendary status?
And he looks at you as if sort of surprised and is like, of course. These are weapons that have great power. They would not be accepted as a gift by the Allfather were it not for that.
And anyone who can travel here has access to this room.
And he nods and he says, yes, that archway is one thing that will lead us to the divine oracle. And he points at it. And yet, to proceed to the oracle is fraught with danger. One cannot do it alone. There is a ritual involved, and it uses these gifts as access points. I no longer remember, for it has been so long ago, which corresponds from weapon to the ritual items within the archway. And yet that is the way we must go, or travel through these sets of doors to find what it is that awaits us. The oracle, though, leads through there.
Do all giant folk know of this place?
He says, no, not all, but many of them do. For most of us, it is a legend. But the greatest heroes, like Darth Sisu, who just resubscribed to the channel, they themselves know of this, for they are taught it by our leaders. Some of us have always been told of this place so we might maintain it and protect it from invaders. But its greatest protection is secrecy. If the Uthgardt barbarians and the humans have found this place, then we are in dire straits indeed.
I see. I just kind of go a bit quiet. Thank you for enlightening me to the ways of the giant folk. I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to have a quick look around. You said there was a doorway around here.
Okay. Yes. And while he's doing that, while I'm about to show this, Greta and Selsig and River, what are you doing as Urash goes back to look?
I will have a look at how thick the ice on the door is. I mean, are we talking about a meter here or just a few centimeters?
4 inches. Which is...
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, sorry. Christ. That's not a meter. So 4 inches is
Okay,
about...
yeah.
4 inches is a third of a foot. So what is it, 3 feet to a meter?
It's
It's
10
not-
centimeters approximately.
It's 10 centimeters. I just looked it up. So.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
0.1 meters.
Sorry, I was looking at what 1 centimeter was. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Do I need fire damage to melt this, or is radiant damage enough?
Yeah, you don't think radiant damage is going to get it done. It's either got to be melted with presumably fire, or you'd have to chip away at it for a while. You could also probably melt it with a torch even, but it would take a while, obviously.
Okay. I will walk to the front of the Allfather statue to see what the yellow glowing thing is.
Okay, I'm going to ask River and Celsig what they're doing in just a minute. Before I do that, Greta, you might want to join us here in the actual room.
What? Oh,
He's
sorry.
back in the hallway. That's right. You see a hallway. So
It was a really nice hallway.
we are we're giving away
Good times.
to celebrate my Kickstarter reaching $1,000. We are giving away Deponia: The Complete Journey, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, or the Space Quest Collection. And if you enter raffle, just type in the word !raffle, you can get that. I think that was Elias who asked me. So yeah. Okay. So, all right, so you're going to go down and take a look at that. So, yeah, so River and Celsig, what are you folks doing?
Not a whole lot, really.
Yeah, I basically just follow
It's-
Greta around like a
It's not
lost
hard
puppy.
to know what will be classed as blasphemy or desecration at this point, really. So I'm kind of playing it safe.
Okay.
Most things you would normally do with removable items.
Hey!
In this place, man. I was gonna nudge you earlier, sort of go. We probably should. I was probably just leave this going.
One of my well-honed self-preservation instincts is just going, yeah, just don't anything.
Yeah.
Don't anything.
Hands in pockets.
Yeah.
That's just safest way. Just hands in pockets.
Nice. Urash, what you see down this hallway is this goes down a few feet, about 40 feet, until it arrives at a portcullis, which is currently closed. It's a heavy portcullis, about 20 feet wide by 30 feet tall, and there's a 30-foot high wall above it, which blocks this 60-foot high passage. So 60 feet from ceiling to floor, 30 feet of that is a stone stone wall, basically, and then below that, 30 feet tall iron portcullis is there, and it's currently lowered. And through it, you can see the hallway extending down farther this way.
How wide is this corridor?
The corridor is 20 feet wide.
Okay, so big enough for a giant's game.
Yes.
Okay. I was really confused. This was a really narrow corridor for a giant's temple.
Nope, it can definitely fit giants.
Okay, I'm not going to investigate any more than that. I'm going to go back.
Okay. Greta, you said you went around to the front to look at what specifically?
Seems to be a glowing yellow thing
On the front, you mean?
of the statue.
Yes.
It looked like he's standing on an orange or something.
So to
Standing on the
speak.
sun.
The statue's face, first of all, is a mask of bare rock. So there's literally no facial features on it at all. It's just blank
I'm
rock.
fine with that.
So you're sort of, as you look, you're sort of looking at that as well. Below this actual creature, below this statue, I should say, you can see that there is what looks like a couple of, there's sort of cracks, first of all, that are kind of leading out from the statue to the four sort of corners of the room. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is below the level of the statue is this sort of warm glow that you can just barely make out. And it seems to be only coming out of that one side of the statue, but you're not 100% sure as to why that would be the case, but that is the case.
I want to investigate that.
Okay. Oh, nice. I slap pandas. Yeah, so when you get closer, you can actually see that it seems to be letting in light possibly from below the statue. But to know more, you would have to move this. And I'm here to tell you that you are not going to be moving an 80-foot tall stone statue. That is not going to happen.
Is it only light coming out or also heat?
There does feel to be some warmth in here as well, coming from this.
Harshnag, what is this? There's light and warmth coming from down there.
He says, "It is said that below the eye of the All-Father, it connects to the heart and blood of the world, fire which runs through the veins of the earth. It is possible that this leads there, but none of us have been down below. The giant smiths who created this statue are long dead, and so what it is they blocked, or whether this statue could be shifted or moved, is unknown to us. We know that none of us have ever seen the face of Anan the Allfather and lived, and thus we keep his features blank, for we dare not misinterpret him.
I don't want to appear nervous, but did the floor always have cracks? Are they like artificial, artistic cracks? Or
shakes
is this
his
a
head
new
sadly.
development?
Thank you.
He says, No, sadly these cracks were not here when the temple was first built. They have gradually widened over the centuries, and there have been much discussion of figuring out ways to fix it. But the travel here is difficult, and so few giants know of its existence that it is difficult to get a group together which could come to repair it. And yet, the thought of this collapsing into the lava that may exist well below, he kind of just shakes his head. It is unthinkable.
Okay, this is slightly bothering. Anyway, I look around the room like I think we should move on to the oracle and not lose too much time.
And so Harshnag says, then he says, in that case, let us take a look and see. As I say, it has been a long time, and I never passed beyond this room. I knew only of this arch. And as he walks over to it, is everybody going to walk over to it, or like who's going to walk over to the arch?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I follow Harshnag.
Same, Celsic?
Yeah, I'm sort of following.
Because you're like way at the other side of the room. You're like, yep, on my way. Like, you know, just like way off.
I realize everyone's moved away from me, and I can't really see them because this room is one of the biggest rooms I've ever been in my life.
It's enormous.
Quick question, just while I'm passing this side of the room. These archways here, this doorway here, are these covered in ice
No.
also?
They are not.
No. Are these just doors?
They're just doors.
Okay. Cool.
The other thing I wanted to mention, just to sort of emphasize that point. So this room, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is 1440. So this is 168 feet by 168 by 168 feet wide, and 100 feet tall. No, that's wrong. That's not even close to correct. It is, I'm sorry, I'm completely wrong. Because it's 20 feet per square. So that means that it is 280 feet by 280 feet square and 100 feet high vaulted ceiling. This is enormous.
Jeez.
Yeah. Like you can also even hear the echoing, like, you know, if you were to speak, hello, hello, you could actually hear the echo across the other side. So yeah. Okay, when you come over to the archway itself is 40 feet wide and 40 feet tall, and there are 6 different runes which are carved into it. Each one is inlaid with mithril, and a glowing mist fills the arch. There are niches in the walls on either side of it, and they contain empty ice-covered sconces made of iron. So you can actually see one niche here, one niche here, one niche
What,
here.
please? Sconces?
One niche, please. Sconces, which are basically things to hold either torches or weapons, sort of longer cylindrical objects. That's what a sconce is. Yeah.
Okay.
And let me see if I can actually show you a picture of the runes, because that would be helpful. There we go. Yep. All right. Let's just get that.
I don't know about you guys. I'm definitely thinking there is not a lot for us to take in this room. Like I found a passageway over there that leads to like a portcullis, and it looks like, you know, like in keeps where you have like the defensive area at the front. It kind of looks like that, where giants would go there and just like throw stuff off the balcony to invaders coming through the main entranceway. Really not sure unless we really want to poke around in this place, which I'm not 100% happy with, being it feels like a very holy place. don't really think we're going to find a lot in here that's going to help us, other than moving through it.
Okay, I'm going to put up on stream, I'm going to show you folks the runes that you can see. It'll be coming up in just a second. Right now.
Given the delay.
Oh, we're off to see Ra.
So you can see each of these runes. Now you see these sort of words and you see the runes themselves, but as Harshnag looks at them, he points at the bottom right one and he says, "That one, ice. I would recognize it anywhere. It is a rune which is sacred to the frost giants."
What does it mean?
It is generally a place that shows the markings of a place that is sacred to us, sometimes treasure chambers or tombs or temples. I do not remember having seen it here before, but it is something that any frost giant would know. The others are not familiar to me.
Well, considering that there are 6 of them, the other runes might be the ones that are sacred to the other giant races.
A reasonable assumption.
Good point. I guess, do we know what the other runes mean?
He sort of takes a step back. He says he does not know what any of the others are.
Well, but it would mean that this is a place that is sacred to all giants.
And he says, "Indeed, as it was intended to be. This is a place that was meant to unify the giants. It was, if you will, a symbol of what the ordning is meant to represent. Perhaps the cracks in this floor are like the breaks in our ordning. And perhaps we will not be brought together again." And he sort of, you see his shoulders kind of slump a little bit, and he kind of turns away.
No, I'm sure whatever's happening with the ordning, we'll get to the bottom of it, and we'll try and find a way to fix this.
Harshnag, do you think we as non-giants are allowed to enter?
He sort of sighs and then he says, "In the old days, the entrance to the Oracle would have been punishable by any non-giant, would have been punishable by death." Oh, I'm sorry, Sharian. Yes, I'm so sorry, Sharian. I didn't realize. Yeah, if you go ahead and finish off the raffle. Thank you so much. So this is finishing up the raffle for the giveaway game because my Kickstarter reached 1,000. It's actually now gone up to 1,051, so that's awesome. I will be, what I'd like to do is once the raffle is won, if you could drop me a Whisper Me on Twitch, I will whisper you back with the code for this game that you're getting. It is a Humble Bundle code. And I want to thank actually my viewers, Chaotix and Dragonspear, for having donated this for giveaway. So thank you. Yes, and the Kickstarter, Heavy Bana, is a Kickstarter? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Kickstarter is for my Tales and Tomes in the Forbidden Library. It is a D&D adventure which I run at Gen Con, the Writers' Symposium, every year for authors. It is linked right there. It's being done by Alligator Alley Entertainment. It is an adventure and a source book, and it has many other contributors to it, including people well known in the tabletop gaming industry and authors as well. And it is $15 for the PDF, and it's about $35. It's $30 for the physical book and $35 for both, and you'll see the different pledge levels and stuff up there as well. So thank you all for checking it out, and for the team for putting up with me while I talk about it. All right, so oh, you already backed it? Oh, you're like, oh, backed. Wow, that was the easiest thing. Thank you, Heavy Bana. I was like, oh, well then auto win. Like, I don't know. Thank you. That's really awesome. Thank you very much. So. All right, we had 20 people come into the raffle. That's good. Good luck to everybody. So, okay, so where was I? So he turns away. He's looking at all of you.
Oh no, Cadmus won and he just entered by accident earlier.
Oh no. Yeah, thank you very much, Heavy Bon. I appreciate
Redraw.
that. So you got to redraw, I guess.
Yeah,
Kappas.
we will see what Katniss says, but I remember that. Did I just enter the raffle?
I think he was explaining to someone else how to enter the raffle.
Yes.
That happens a lot.
Here's how you do that, and yeah.
We do this. Whoops.
That's funny. Okay. So he sort of turns away, and you said the thing about like we'll find out what happened with the ordning. What now? You were all sort of. He's kind of looking back at the All-Father statue again.
Sorry, I was distracted by the raffle thing. So he said we're allowed to enter this time. Yes.
Oh yes, that's what you were asking. I couldn't remember what we were talking about. Yes. He says, in the old days, death would have been the certain fate for any non-giant to enter the Oracle's room. But in these days, the giants have gotten themselves into their own difficulties. And so long as you accompany me, I will do what I can to keep you safe. Let the punishment, if there is one, fall on my head.
Okay. If the punishment is death, and we would be out without your protection if you die, I'm not sure this is a good idea.
He says, but the only way to gather the information we need is from the Oracle. It is why we came here in the first place, after all.
What does this gateway look like?
It is this faintly glowing archway that says Greta's Doom in it. I'm just kidding. It is this faintly glowing archway that is sort of faintly blue. And it's sort of beyond it, it's like a glowing mist that basically is what it looks like. The archway itself is basically stone.
Aaron, EK has won the raffle.
Oh, you're kidding me.
For the love of God. Wow.
That only comes around here once a month.
It really is amazing. It's just like there's like no. I mean, it's Kappas' fault, you know. Like, like this is all him.
God.
Your password should be randomized, not the username. You have to use LastPass for his username. Like, what is it? Congratulations, ECAG. Just just send me a private message, whisper ECAG, and I will, and tell me which of those 3 games you would like, and you'll get one. That's really funny.
Yeah. So I'm in. I'm game.
Okay.
Weird fancy portal thing. Probable chance of death. Legendary giant carrying a massive great axe with us. I like our chances.
And
I take a moment and grab the amulet of Pholtos that I carry around my neck and just concentrate for a moment, and then I'm also ready to walk in.
Okay. And so as you all get ready, he looks around to see if the River and Selsig are coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we need to walk in with you, or do you need to walk in first? How does this work? Because I'm ready to go.
He says, well, before any of us can walk in, we must first activate this portal. It is currently not, as you can see. And he points to the mist. But there was a secret as to how to do it, but I was far too young to remember what that secret would be. It must have something to do with the runes, I assume. And he kind of points to it.
Man.
I should say, by the way, just in case you're curious,
always need a ritual. I just don't understand this fancy
it's so typical. The ones that are on the left side of this little diagram that you see here are on the left side of the arch. So the topmost side of the arch as you're looking down, face down at it here. And then the right 3 runes are on the right side of the arch.
I look over to Greta and River. I'm like, fancy puzzle, fancy people. There's a fancy puzzle. We need help.
I look at the runes and I look at the statues. Are the statues like on rails or look easily movable or something?
If you were to walk over, you could take a look and see, like sort of closely. They don't look like it from a distance, but.
Harshnake, would it be allowed if I see if the statues are movable?
And he says, you can certainly try, but I cannot imagine that the statues have moved for centuries.
Okay, I very nicely but firmly push a statue.
It very nicely but firmly utterly resists you.
That's okay. And I understand, and I
just want to make a
refrain
strength
from
check.
doing
And
it again.
really,
Wait, hang on. What are you trying to do? I zoned out for a second. I'm looking at the portal, thinking fancy doorways.
So we've got the cleric trying to push a statue and the barbarian examining the runes on a portal. Something's gone very wrong here.
So we have these 6 runes that I do assume represent the 6 giant races, and we have the statues of the 6 giant races here. I wonder, maybe we have to complete them. We know that one of them is missing an axe. Urash, could you lay your axe into the ice giant's hands?
No, but I because I'm not letting go of my axe. However, I do have a spare axe that I will put into the hands of the frost giant. Which I will do. Which is the frost giant's this one, correct?
Right, that's right.
And I'm gonna guess this normal axe is gonna be like super tiny.
Yeah, so
in
he's
this
basically
frost
like
giant
holding like a child's baby fork. Like,
Yeah,
he's just
it's
kind
like Fisher Price is my first D&D.
Fisher Price is my first axe. Yeah, pretty much that's what it is.
But this isn't my axe. This isn't my special axe. So I'm not giving that one up, obviously. But I'll toss the other one and see what happens.
You don't have to give it up, but your axe is a giant axe, and who knows where Droofy it got it from.
So's the one that I got from Wemblood. Why does it have to be my axe?
Wobble's axe is not a giant axe. It's a like tiny barbarian people that attack other people in hallways eggs.
Wait, how big is my axe? Like, is this like an oversized axe?
Your axe is big, but I don't know that I'd say that it's. I mean, it's also a great axe. I don't know that.
Yeah, Droofy was using it one-handed. Is that correct?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I have to use it two-handed.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is a great axe, but then the one that Wormblood had is also a great axe?
Yes, although smaller than the one that you have.
I don't want to put my axe on there. What if I don't get it back?
Well then, somebody else has the axe. That is not a bad thing.
It is for me. It is for me. It you know this. It has a special hold on me. This is not. I don't want to do this. I don't.
Maybe the hold stops if you give it to this very nice statue.
But maybe I don't want to give it to the very nice statue. Look, I placed a very similar axe on the hands of this frost giant and nothing happened. Okay, so I think we can take from that my axe that belongs to me is not going to make this happen.
Chad is making comments about feeling bad that Urash's axe's size is being commented upon.
It's always something with you people, isn't it? Hey, you got to give up your axe. You got to give up this. You got to give up that. I'm not giving up my axe. Look, you do the fancy magic stuff. You figure this out, okay? You just need to go through the magic portal. If you can make the magic portal work, that'd be fantastic. I'm not giving up my stuff.
Okay. Celsic, could you help me? I would like to have a close look at the statues. If we could maybe find something that looks like a button that we can activate, or something that looks like the runes, or anything.
I shrug and walk over. I'm tuned out at this point. There aren't locks to pick. There's nothing to steal.
We're just in a really boring reception room at this point. It's like it's huge. Don't get me wrong. Hashtag. No offense.
I mean, there is the ice doors. If only someone could melt them.
Okay. Yeah, those are.
I might consider melting them if we cannot activate the portal, but still.
I'm just saying, we've got a pile of corpses outside that are mighty flammable.
Does that mean you need to put a dwarf in the stone giant's hand? Which is,
I just love that brief silence when people were putting together what I meant in their head.
I will now start to look at the statues to see if I can find something that can be activated or done with them in any way. Okay,
go ahead and make maybe make an investigation check for me. I think which statue were you looking at?
I will start with the one with the rock.
The rock. Okay, it's up this one.
Yes, I will just start with the one.
You're talking about everyone's friend Scoreus Stonebones, which also sounds like the lead singer of a 70s progressive band. Scoreus Stonebones.
Stone, and then we have this rune which says Stein, which apparently is the German word for Stein that I just accidentally know.
Stein. Maybe they're actually the Stein giants, and we're just going about this all wrong.
Anyway, investigation is what you want. Yes, you don't want perception.
Nope.
Perception is a really nice skill,
I know. I'm looking for investigation because you actually are there. Yeah. I mean, it looks like this thing is just holding this huge boulder, and holding it out to on the Allfather, but you don't really see anything in particular that could be moved or shifted. Clearly, the boulder is not part of the statue and could be removed. If you tried to remove it, it would probably crush you, but it could be done.
Does it look like it would crush me?
You think you could take it off, but it would be rough.
Okay. I mean, we could do it.
Then let's not. I don't think that's right. It doesn't feel right to me.
No.
I'll stand in front of the stage and I'll make like a line of sight towards the Allfather. Is there something?
Now you can make a perception check for me. If you're gonna, so you're basically here. You're talking about. You're like the statue is there. I see it, and behind me, the other statue.
It's still here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Definitely, you're looking at statues. No question.
Have we given any attention to what appears to be these two doors here?
Okay.
Mm.
I don't think it was really referenced then. All the attention's been going to the icy ones.
Yeah.
No, that's true. These doors, which are up to the top, are okay. These doors that are sort of facing up to the top look as if they might be openable, but it would take a lot for a normal-sized human or humanoid or, say, half-orc to open it, and it would definitely not be able to. A halfling would have a very difficult time getting them open. You can't tell exactly if they're locked.
If only we had some sort of giant-sized person available.
If only.
I walk back to the roots are around the archway, right?
Right. Correct.
So, how high is the highest rune?
The highest rune, I would say, because you've got the arch, which is 40 feet tall, so I would say that it's close to 40 feet in the air, the tallest rune. And there's actually two of them that you can see right next to each other that are on the same level.
And the lowest are like on my eye level. I could touch them.
Yes.
I will touch them to see if they activate.
Which
or
one?
Something. Ice.
Okay. All right. When you touch that one,
I did not expect anything to happen. You don't really.
Okay.
Make the following saving.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so here's the thing.
This is safe.
He's now pulling out the replacement character. That's what you're looking for.
I was gonna say, have you got? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only person who could potentially defrost any of us just touched the ice.
You can take a torch.
So as this begins to as you touch it, you begin to hear this whooshing sound, and then the air gets very cold, and this seems very familiar to you, River. You feel like you've been around this before, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is like the thing that I cast recently. And suddenly, these ice balls, basically, this hail of ice pounds down all around you. I'm going to ask everybody here to make a saving throw for me.
Everybody in the room?
This is, I'm going to ask you to make here a dexterity saving throw, please.
I'm sorry.
Dexterity saving throw.
I need my ice sound effects when I'm right here.
14.
Okay.
Quick question. Can I see this effect happen before it hits me?
No. I mean, a second before. I mean, but the thing is, the entire room is covered by this, so there's really nowhere to hide.
Danger
So this is an area of effect then?
Yes. A
Which
240
means Which means I only take half damage even if I fail.
Because the area of effect? All right.
Because I have evasion.
Well, that's good because I see a lot of fails popping up here.
Yeah.
River, is that 12 for...
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So all of you fail to save. And all of you are going to take...
Well, about that.
All right.
Don't forget, I'm resistant to all damage.
Really? All damage ever?
No, genuinely am. No,
Wait,
I'm
are you in
resistant
the?
to
You're,
all
are
damage
you not
from
raging at the moment? Are you?
It doesn't matter. It's a natural talent for when I'm because I'm my totem animal, I believe.
Okay, that's fine. I believe you. Just double check.
We'll double check this.
I still have that
I'm
shield.
more than willing to admit that I'm wrong.
I still have that Goldilocks shield that did something with frost that nobody can remember because we didn't note it down.
Oh, I don't remember either.
Ah, damn it! It's only when I'm raging.
That's what I thought.
It's only when
Like,
you're
I
raging.
suddenly rage. I'm
Damn
really
it.
angry. Okay.
I'm so angry right now.
All of you except
what did you do?
all of you except Celsig are going to take 27 points of damage as the ice pounds
That's
down.
not
And in case you're curious, this is 16 cold damage and 11 bludgeoning damage. And Celsig is going to take 14. So 27. So I think Orosh is
Oh,
I'll be
wait.
at 29.
20. Orosh is 29.
Oh, I may have just miscounted.
Let's see. Greta is 16.
Ow.
Celsig is let's see. Celsig is 14, 29, I think. No, 20.
29, yes.
29.
Yeah, down from 43.
And River is going to take is down to 10.
Down to 10. Yeah.
And as you were all getting pounded away by this stuff, Harshnag is kind of like, well, that is bracing. I appreciate the attempt to change things, but I do not think that is healthy for all of you. Are you all right?
I will just lie on the floor bleeding for a moment.
Yep. The ice storm finally lifts, and he says, "It appears we must be careful with what we touch these runes."
I would like a nap, please. I would like a nap and a sandwich.
I would also like a nap and a sandwich.
I know, we were
I'd like
double
to
the
know
call.
what's through this non-obviously trapped door.
I know. So,
I will just- I will just-
myself. We'll go stand in the corridor. Harshnag, could you just press all of these runes, please?
I will just lie here for a while longer and say something like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. We forgive you.
This is a good moment to stop for just a second and welcome everybody to episode 167 in Pen and Pixels. Welcome to D&D with GOG, Storm King's Thunder, with the amazing crew of Pyron J, Darksaber2K, Mike, also known as Screaming Joypad, and of course Tasty Chai. We have been playing this for quite a while, but we are moving into the latter portions of this campaign over time, and currently the party is getting hailed on by a bunch of ice storms. If you like what you see, please make sure to follow GOG. Please, as many of you have been doing today, please sub to GOG, as many of you have done as well. And please check us out on our individual channels also. I have been mentioning the fact that I have a Kickstarter running, and we are now up to $1,136, which is really awesome. So we are at 34 backers, and we're only about 4.5, 5 hours in now for my D&D adventure. So thank you if you've supported so far. If not, please consider doing so. And yeah, welcome everybody. Okay, so you were all sort of lying on the ground feeling bad about things. Celsig, you are going to the door though to check that out, I believe.
I'm trying to get Harshnag to open it so we can have a look.
Okay, so he comes over and he says, "Oh, certainly, I should be able to open these." And he comes over. Which one do you want, the right or the left?
Well, he's by the right one.
Okay. So
Stay behind him.
so he opens this.
I braced to dodge.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was gonna come with you. I'm gonna stand behind this statue.
In giant letters behind the door is a sign that says, "Do not touch the ice rune."
Yeah.
It's a
giant note
Ice
pinned
rune.
on the door.
It's actually a
Ice
giant
rune.
nope hanging on the door. Is really what it is.
Yeah.
I just like my instinct is don't touch anything for once, and I still get hit with a trap.
Yeah, what I loved about that is it says that everybody in the room is hit by it. So like 240 feet of ice storm. It's like
Yeah.
that is no joke. Okay. So this is what you see. There is a 60-foot high hall which is stretching northward, and the hall is inclined at a slight angle. So the floor in the north side of the hall seems to be higher than in the south end. There is some frost on the floor, but not much, like just sort of a little bit of faint cold, which might just be from the surrounding environment outside. It's not like, ice rink or anything like that. And there are a number of archways along this hallway. There are also 2 sets of stairs here, which you can see lead up to like a ledge. And then there's a wall here, but presumably there's another set of stairs on the other side that lead you up to a second floor.
Interesting.
Oops, that didn't get us killed.
Yeah.
Did you just trigger another trap?
I am mildly suspicious of the slope.
Mildly.
Slightly.
Compared to what's just happened,
Yeah.
the slope doesn't look anywhere near as threatening, but I am suspicious. I'll head into about here then.
Okay. So
I'm gonna head to the door. Him being the courageous one, I'm gonna let Celsius go first.
I passed a trial and everything. I'm certified.
You did. You did. You certainly are.
okay. Nothing happens.
I move slightly forward again. No.
I move 5 feet forward. Nothing happens. I move 5 feet forward. I move 5 feet forward.
Yeah,
Just like twinkle toes, like along the ground.
I am interested by this thing here, which seems to draw the eye.
This thing you mean that's actually in the middle.
Yes.
So, in the middle of this thing, there is actually, hold on one second there. There is, at the end of this hallway, just one second, make sure I got that right. Yes, good. There is a life-size statue of a stone giant here, and its arms are lifted up with hands outstretched, and its palms are facing the opposite wall. So as you were sort of in here, you can actually see. Let me try to reveal more of it. As I said, this is a long hallway. A long hallway. A very, very long hallway.
It'll make the incoming boulder chase more dramatic.
That's about as far as you can see. But that's about as far as you can see down there. But yes. So here is the statue, and its palms are facing out like this towards that opposite wall.
Okay. Right. I regard it. I'm looking up. And then I decide to take the stairs.
Okay. You're going to head up the stairs. While you were doing that, Greta and River, what are you doing? And I'm going to ask Urash what he's doing.
I'm hurting, and I'm afraid to push buttons now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Got some pain.
I also lie on my back on the floor whining. Also, last send-in, if you're looking for a Diablo stream, we have one coming up on Friday. Put the !schedule command and you will see when. Now continue lying on the floor whining.
Okay. Side note, I have a downstairs in my basement, I have a Diablo D&D set. Actually, you could play Diablo, like Diablo characters and stuff like that, and monsters. Yeah.
Well, I know what our next campaign's going to be.
The Diablo campaign, yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty sweet. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, so, all right, so you are, so what was the end of that, Greta? I'm sorry, you were just looking, you were kind of lying on the ground.
Yes, that
was all, just whining, okay. And the river is feeling,
I am so damn hurt. I don't know, I'm not doing anything for a moment right now.
Arash, what are you, and River, you're standing by the statue also feeling hurt.
Yeah, no, I'm on my back, and ouch.
Okay. Arash, what are you doing?
I'm gonna move through here to about here and have a look kind of down this kind of area.
Okay. When you look down here, you can see that this hallway, as it extends, that there are these, essentially these alcoves that are off of it. These archways. And you'd have to kind of get close to see what they are, but it looks like they're lead to smallish, relatively speaking, for, giants, rooms. On either side.
I'm gonna go back into the main room and I'm gonna check on the other two because I haven't heard anything from them for a while.
When you come in, you hear a lot of whining.
You guys okay?
Not really. That hit hard.
Do they both do they look exhausted
hurt.
or like on the floor like, oh god, I can't move?
They're lying on the ground, kind of staring up, and I assume they're kind of rocking back and forth, feeling hurt.
Okay, I'm gonna go over and help them up.
Ouch.
Come on, we can do this. We've walked off worse. I'll help Greta up.
Yeah,
I'll go over and help River up. I know we've done worse. It's okay. We'll be okay.
I didn't sign up for this.
Celsic.
Fortify.
Let me head to you. So, I'm going to try to bring you over to what this shows now. And here's the part where I have to guesstimate where the actual place is in the darkness. Oh, I'm so good. Yeah, there we go. Nice. By which I mean I'm incredibly lucky that I actually figured it out. Okay, so go ahead and place your token right over. Yeah.
Yes, they're sort of approaching the top of the stairs.
Yes. And this is what you see. I shall reveal all. The Lord of in Mordor, Sauron sees all. First of all, you see a set of stairs on the other side, which presumably is the opposite set of stairs, if you're, making a reasonable assumption. That way. And then on the very top here, you can actually see this is somewhat similar to the hallway below, except that much of it seems to have collapsed. In an alcove at the south end of the hall, right here, is another life-size statue, but this one looks like a female, possibly cloud giant, who is wearing an angry mask, but her arms are positioned like this, almost like she's ready to cast a spell or something like that.
Okay.
And of course, you've got the, as I say, the hallway leading up this direction.
Yeah. So I'll come out to about here to see how far the hallway goes before the collapse occurred.
Okay. Let me find out. Okay. So this I shall show you. So it goes up this way. Again, long hallway, but not as long, because right about there you can see that we've got some rubble that we're dealing with. And I'm going to reveal that, and I'm going to reveal that. There we go. So you can now pretty much see to the end of the hallway where there's rubble on the other side.
Yeah.
And as I say, it looks structurally similar to the hallway down below, except that it's, not.
Yeah, I'll head up to where the first openings on this side appear to get a feel for what they are.
All right. I shall show you what you see. Your own doom. No.
That's what I'm dreaded.
Okay.
This is where we keep.
Yeah, I've split from the party. This always ends well.
This is where we keep the Umberhawks.
Here's where the ballistas are kept.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna move over to Harshnag once I've got the other party members up on their feet. Move back over to Harshnag.
Okay. So down below, in the rooms that you can see, very similar again. There are these square chambers, 60-foot square, and you can see that they have what looks like frost-covered stone couches. And some of these couches, like this one up here, has some tattered furs on top of it. If you had to guess, this is probably like a bed chamber for a giant, if you were to guess.
Yeah. Well, I'll carry on proceeding.
Okay. I'll carry on proceeding with Celsic a bit longer, then I'll jump back down. Okay. Same thing pretty much here. Whoops. Pretty much. Yeah.
Intentionally, I'm just going to proceed up, and because, like I say, unless something's obviously different about them, I'm going to expect them all to be the same right now.
Okay.
But I will continue to check because I have to be thorough.
This is so there is something different here. On the rightmost room, this one, instead of having like the stone beds, there are two sort of fancy, they almost look like couches, like sculpted couches. And they have furs on both of them, but the sort of fronts of the beds are sculpted almost as if they're nicer than the beds you've seen to this point.
I'll wander in and have a look there. Maybe there's something under the beds.
Okay. Which one, north or south?
South.
Okay. All right. On the top of this bed, it's mostly furs, but you do find a stitched leather sack.
Okay. Can I reach it?
Um,
It's a giant room.
So I was just going to say, like, I don't know that you're going to be able to reach it easily, but let me double check. Because each of these ones, couches, I think actually probably if you sort of jump up, I'm going to have you do a strength or an athletics check to kind of pull yourself up on top of the couch.
It's the same either way. Just do that.
Oh, you love the program as in Roll20, John Stock? Or as in our show? Because if it's the latter, then thank you. And if it's the former, well, I agree, it's good. Okay, so you're able to pull yourself up on top of it, and yes, you were able to reach it.
Okay, so I am going to open it, and I don't know, is it giant sized? Do I climb inside?
It is not giant sized, but well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it does seem like it's sized for a giant, though. Okay, and what you find is the following. First of all, you find 4 items in it. The first is this mangy fur pelt. It's kind of indeterminate. Kind of smells though, but it's this indeterminate mangy pelt of some kind.
I'm actually specifying smelly on that.
Yes, it's just a faint smell. But yes.
If I had to disguise myself as some sort of mangy animal, it might be very useful to know it smells of it.
That's true. You also find in here 5. I should have said that because these are kind of bundled together. So there's 4 items, but a couple of them are bundled, like this one. So the second thing you find, tied together by some twine or rope, is what looks like 5 white scales, and in fact they look very much like large versions of the scales that were on the wormling that you had in the hallway, but these are definitely like a bigger than those. So there are 5 of those.
Nice.
The third thing you find is a dented steel shield. It's just kind of it seems to be very simple. There's no markings on the shield.
No markings, very simple. But I have a nagging suspicion about that. Okay.
And the last thing you find, seems strange, is a wooden toboggan. Basically a sled.
That slope?
Yeah, like a sled, basically.
Next time you see me, I'm going,
woo!
Yeah, exactly.
You got yourself a sled.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to have you wrap up your investigation up here if you wish, and then I'm going to jump back down to them.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that's all you find in the sack.
That's cool then. So I'll jump down and I'm not done investigating, but yeah, let's go back and see what everyone else is doing.
Okay. All right. When you head back downstairs, Urash, you see that Urash is trying to attend to the still very much in pain River and Greta. Greta and River, are you at this point recovering enough that you're able to sit up and be like, that sucked? Like where are you at in terms of your pain tolerance?
Yeah, I'm pulling myself together now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stare at the runes of the archway and say, well, at least we know these do something. I wonder if I just pressed it in the wrong order.
Oh,
Are you sure you
touch
want to try
them.
again?
No, I wouldn't. No, let's not touch those.
At this point, Celsic returns bearing a sack of some items. There's one very long wooden item.
I hear Greta talking about touching the runes in a different order. Turn around and walk right back out again.
Maybe this way. Goodbye. Okay.
Yeah.
Celsic,
I
what
am-
have you found?
I found a dented wooden shield, a wooden sled. This, and I hold up the fur pelt, making sure I'm standing very close to everyone when I do that.
Nice.
What
Thank
is
you.
this?
There.
Very good.
I
It
found
smells.
It's fine.
It really kind of is a little smelly. I mean, it's not like putrid, but
That's-
it's kind of not.
That smells like my field rations.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, not so good.
And I hold up. I've got some of these.
The scales.
Yes.
Okay. And Harshnag
Wait,
sort of
where
chuckles.
did you find this?
There's some bedrooms upstairs and some more statues of giants and things.
Harshnag says, "You didn't take that off any dead giants, did you?"
There's, aside from us, and the dead guys out there, I say, pointing back to the hall, there's nothing here.
Very well. You must have stumbled along one of their garbage bags then.
But just for my imagination, this thing is a sled for giants. You sled on these things.
That's actually a good point. How big is the sled?
It's pretty
Sound of
goddamn
boat.
big. It looks like it would be a little big for Harshnag, rather a little small for Harshnag, I should say. But Harshnag kind of smiles and says, "I have not seen one of these since I was a young boy. We used to sled down the sides of mountains with these, racing wyverns. It was an exciting time. It looks like it will easily fit all of you," and it's true. It looks like it could easily fit all four of you.
I'm very impressed by Celsic, like pulling out the sled out of the sack. Like,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it's mostly just this curved wooden, board. So he was basically,
Boat.
pulling it behind him as he went.
Plus, if Greta touches any more runes, I can hide under it.
Yeah, and it's big, so I'm hiding under it too.
I like this. We shall make a barrier.
He says,
I look at my three friends hiding behind the sledge.
And when Greta does touch another rune and we all die, Harshnag has something to carry our corpses away in.
right.
Yay!
Yay!
Harshnag kind of looks down at you.
Worm on it.
Yeah, what's that saying?
We can put the worm on it. That's outside, so we can
Yes.
sell it.
That's a good idea. I like
Good thinking.
You realize, of course, that you are a good distance away from any civilization unless you think Zephyros wishes to carry this worm thing?
that. Well, that's what we were hoping.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is what
yeah.
we're hoping. Yeah.
That actually was the plan. Yes.
Yep, that was the plan.
Very well. I
Surely
cannot
we
know
found that.
what the small races find valuable.
Okay.
So I have a question. Before Greta goes touching dangerous runes again, just can we just we'll table that one. I mean, it's a good plan. I just don't want to be in the room when you do it. So Harshnag, you said that there was some sort of ritual around this portal, but you don't really remember it. What do you remember? Anything to do with it?
No. I think the only thing I can recall for certain is that when the ritual is completed, something happens to the portal. It looks different. I remember as a boy completing it and then watching my father stride through. I had to remain behind with my younger brother.
Okay, so your father completed the ritual and stepped through the portal.
Yes.
Do you remember what your father did?
No.
Any detail is important.
No.
Damn it.
I don't. I'm sorry, I was so amazed by the room and the statues. I was so young as well. But, and he points back up to all the weapons and stuff, and he says, generally, these gifts were always a part of the mix. It was always said that sacrifice was needed for wisdom. Perhaps we could simply use these weapons and sacrifice them one by one. Perhaps the sacrifice referred to living creatures, though. He kind of sort of thinks about it. Kind of.
I found two statues that look like they might be missing additions? It's certainly posed.
So hang on, I've not looked properly at these runes. Like, really, I just know that there are runes. And I know that one of them says ice. Are we assuming, and I'm talking to Greta here more than anybody, are we assuming, are these runes for different giant types, maybe?
I would assume so. We have the same number of giant races in here. We know that the ice rune is the one for the frost giants. I can assume that the Stein rune is the one for the stone giants. And if Arvin could maybe make the rune things a little bit bigger again?
Giant.
Certainly.
So a giant is its own language, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and presumably none of us speak that.
I don't believe you do, no.
No, and I'm going to guess Harshnag only knows the ice rune.
That is correct. He mentioned that he does not know the other ones.
So we know that ice and Stein are next. If I'm right, that Stein is for the stone giants.
So sky is going to be cloud.
Yes.
Presumably.
I
don't know about any of the others.
But we have ice and we have the frost giant and the stone giant in the north and in the northwest of the room, right?
You have got the stone giant in the northwest and the stone giant in the northwest, storm giant in the northeast. Yes. Stone in the northwest and storm in the northeast.
And ice and frost in the middle of them.
Right, that's right. Yep.
Wait, so we've got frost.
Yep.
Correct, on screen right now.
Yep, that's right.
Cool. And what's
cold,
top
actually.
left?
Stone.
Stone. And top right?
Top right is storm.
Storm. Whoops. Here we go. Bottom left?
Bottom left is hill giant.
Hill. Oops. Hill. And then fire and then cloud, yes?
And then cloud on the right, yes.
Fire and cloud.
On the subject of that, those two statues I saw, did they correspond to specific types of giant? I think you said, but I was distracted.
And we've got ice in the bottom right, which is the frost giant. Sorry, I'm talking loud. I'll put myself on mute.
Okay. Yeah, this is that's okay. I also have to reload this for a second. This is Willow and the Light is the name of this echo by Kevin MacLeod, who is of the Clan MacLeod. Kevin MacLeod, who is an awesome Creative Commons musician that does a bunch of his stuff, and D&D uses. You have probably heard his song somewhere, either on my channel, on Critical Role. He has like 1,000+ songs available for this. Okay, now we're all good. So yes, this is Willow and the Light. So yes, that was ice on the bottom right, the rune list there.
Okay.
I don't think the position of the runes has anything to do with the position of the statues. I don't think it's that simple.
Okay.
Because we've got, if we assume ice is frost, well, we know that, and sky is cloud. They're not in the right positions, if that makes sense, which would make, well, sort of, it would make the Haug rune, or Horg rune, the one that looks like a hook, the storm one.
Yeah, then Hawk would be Storm, Hill would be Ild, and Stone would be oh no, then Stone would be Uvar. There's the problem.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it? It doesn't fit. I wanted it to fit, like
turned, just turned.
Yeah, like you could just rotate it and it would fit to the roughly to the positions. It must have something to do with the statues.
Not that easy.
Looking at the statues again, are these like rooted in place, or are these on like podiums or anything?
They're on slightly raised daises, basically platforms above, but the platforms look like they're carved out of the floor, like they don't look like they rotate.
Anything on the daises?
No, not that you can tell.
Like
it's the statues themselves.
Runes,
and
perhaps?
Sorry, say again.
Like runes, perhaps?
Yes. No, there are no runes on the bottom, unfortunately.
Damn it. And there's no, so looking, let's take the storm giant specifically for a second. There's no rune. No, sorry, not the frost giant specifically.
Okay.
And so we now know what the frost giant rune looks like. We're pretty certain that is the frost giant rune. And we've got the frost giant. There's no carving of that rune on the frost giant anywhere on this statue.
No.
God, man, they're not making it bloody simple, are they?
My people did not wish to be disturbed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Do you know if the ritual took place in this room, or was it like spread out over several rooms and needed several giants to do it?
I don't... Oops, sorry about that. I beg your pardon. I don't believe that it required any extra things. I believe my father simply did something to enter the portal, but I can't remember what it was that he did. But I don't remember many, many different giants working together. I think it was just him.
So a giant, so let's take this back. A giant can walk into this chamber and do a thing and go through the portal.
I believe that's the case, yes.
But
So we just
maybe the thing doesn't work because the axe is missing.
maybe it is the axe. I mean, if the giant does a thing, I'm wondering if the giant does a thing to one of the statues. Like, I wonder if holding one of the weapons allows you passage. But then that wouldn't explain why only one is missing.
Perhaps it has been taken, and we must find the perpetrator here. Or perhaps we're wrong. He kind of chuckles. I must say, my knowledge, unfortunately, of these runes is limited, but I do know that giants hold weapons to be of great value, almost sacred. It is possible, again, that that missing weapon is key, but where to find it?
Okay, I mean, maybe we can find it, but why would somebody take a sacred weapon from a sacred statue or a sacred place and then leave it in just one of the other rooms? That doesn't make sense, does it?
To hide it? What if the frost giant's axe is the key to the ritual? What if that opens the portal?
But wouldn't they just take it with them?
What if they couldn't?
If this axe were like a normal axe wielded by a frost giant, it would weigh over 700 pounds. It would not be easy to move
it's very ceremonial then.
Yes.
It's not a functional weapon, which is what I thought it was. Are all of these weapons similar? Are they all very heavy? Are they all, whilst, normal, gods could wield them.
Yep.
Normal giants would not be able to.
That's correct. You would say probably, they could carry, like Harshnag could carry it, but could definitely pick up one of these weapons. It would be heavy for him, but he could pick it up. But some of these weapons, like for example, the spear, because it's thinner, you would guess is a little lighter. The bone great club is a little smaller, but all of these, like even the bone great club is probably 400 or 500 pounds. Harshnag could definitely carry it. Wielding in combat effectively, but he could definitely carry it. Hello, Jalej.
I've got exploring the lower corridor at this point.
I'd hide it.
Okay.
I'd hide it. I'd put it somewhere if I wanted to protect this place because it's sacred. I'd hide the key and I'd seal it somewhere. What does the frost look like on the doors? Does this look like it's just this occurred naturally, or is this in a very specific block?
So the frost itself is a little odd in that the ice that's here, it doesn't look like it was like magically put onto here. It looks more like it's grown this way over time. There is, remember, coverings of frost on a lot of these places. Like Selsig found frost on the stone couches, above.
Yeah.
And there's frost a little bit on the floor. So it's cold all through
that's
here.
What I'm saying. There's frost in here, but also I saw the frost the river made, or the frost that was made in the corridor. So I know what, that was in a very specific area.
Right.
Does this look similar?
I would say
like
not.
Just happened over time.
I would say more that it's happened over time. Clearly, this bottom room has not been opened for some time.
Okay.
But I think you can say that. So.
I was going to say maybe someone sealed it in there. If a frost giant wanted, or a frost giant with magical powers wanted to hide it away, they'd hide it and seal the door.
It's conceivable.
Somehow.
Well, then we can take a few torches and see if we can melt it down.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think it's definitely worth having a look behind this door, especially if this place hasn't been used or seen or spoken of in so long. We're clearly missing a piece of this somewhere. So I think exploring this place more is definitely something we should do.
Okay.
Every step I take within this temple is a reverence, so I will explore it gladly with you, my friends.
Cool. Good to know.
Okay.
Where are you going to explore? Now, Celsig is making his way up, right? So,
Yeah.
because I'm going to jump up to Celsig and then I'll come back down to Greta and everybody else. We got about 25 minutes, so we will continue on with this. Welcome everybody if you were here. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so like the one down below, Celsig, up above, down the hallway up above, these rooms look very similar to the way I described it below. Kind of these stone bed-like things almost. But they do not. They do not have. A couple of them have like tattered furs, but none of them look fancy like the ones that you saw upstairs.
Yeah, so I'm going to pretty much repeat the same behavior. I'm just going to make my way up the corridor, sticking my head in the door, see if anything looks of interest.
An arrow shoots you in the face.
And that may well.
I was gonna say, if by interest you mean the arrow that shoots you in the face.
Could you maybe take the runes away because people cannot see anything?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I beg your pardon. I increased it for the benefit of our players. Beg your pardon. Sorry. Poor chat. They're all like, "What? I can't see."
Don't know what's going on.
All right, so go ahead, Celsig. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of where you were going.
Oh, that's all right. It's again. You can just take it as read. I'm just methodically going.
Okay.
And then carrying on.
All right.
It's a long corridor, so I'm trying to keep a pace up.
It's definitely it's definitely a long one. Okay. So you keep on going, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean that just caught my eye there. Is that anything? It looks like a window or something.
There is towards the back of one. Let's see. There's just a little crack in the wall back there. It looks like.
I'll wander up to it.
Okay.
Like how big of a crack? Are we talking just like cracked paint or an actual opening of some
No,
kind?
it looks like an actual opening. It looks like about maybe 5 feet wide, and it kind of moves off in that direction. So it's kind of it's definitely, and it looks rough hewn. Like it does not look like the rest of this has looked like so far.
Natural curiosity versus very narrow passage to bump into something.
Mm-hmm. You could walk through a crack that big, yeah.
I'll stick my head in.
Okay. So
the mouth closes around your neck. You are dead.
Okay.
It's awfully moist. These weird teeth-like
Nice.
rock formations.
This doesn't look good, man. I'm not going to say I don't think you should be doing this alone.
So I was going to say, yeah. So a quick note about this as you're going up this way. The passageway begins to curve, and it depends on how far you want to go down it. It is very difficult to sort of move through here. There's icy and uneven floors here, and so this is basically difficult terrain for you. But I mean, you're able to make your way in if you wish.
I've established that it is a thing.
That there's a thing there, yes.
It's a thing and not a nothing. So I will note a bit and then come back out again.
Okay.
So I'll leave that for now until I have, even if it's just someone to hold the other end of a rope that's attached to me.
Someone said you've encountered a grue, so like. Okay, so you're heading up.
Yeah, so we'll carry on. We'll just scout out the other rooms. Well, I'm wondering if the others have set themselves on fire yet.
Okay. That has the same thing that I've already described.
Yeah, I'm definitely spotting a theme here, so my pace is picking up a bit.
When you get there, so you cross over this square that is sitting right about here, and when that happened, the archways along the west and east wall two big walls of stone smash down.
Oh.
And I'm going to need you to roll initiative for me, please. Just you.
Oh no.
This was bound to happen sooner or later. Right, initiative.
Can we at least hear that?
Make a perception
Yes.
check for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just short of crit.
Make a perception check for me.
Okay.
Not you, actually. No, actually, Celsic, you don't need to make this. They
Yeah, I
need
think
to
I
make this
noticed.
perception check. Yeah, you've noticed that this happened.
So the eastern
You
west,
perceive,
like,
oh crap, like that's.
Oh god.
Or Ash is like, I must think of the southern place. Yeah.
Yeah.
so just so we're clear, so the east and west like doors have opened.
No. It is that the stone, basically, I'll freehand it for you. This stone here.
I need
So-
to know the situation.
And in fact, and
Oh Jesus.
Okay, yes.
And-
It's exactly as I
sorry,
thought.
that was terrible. Forget that last part that I did.
And now a large stone boulder rolls down the corridor.
Indiana Jones.
Oh
it.
god damn.
How good's my sledging skill?
I mean, you know what? It is inclined.
Yeah.
It is inclined. I do have
If you
to
can
say
make the roll, you could do it.
that would be pretty funny. Oh, and then of course
Everyone-
also up here.
Barony.
There we go. Okay. Right. So, River, you hear the sound of some slamming noise to the north. And Greta, you hear the same. You hear this like, and Harshnag does too. Is like, what was that? Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. He says, what was that?
Isn't that the way Celsic went?
And I just yell, Celsic, are you okay?
Celsic, at this point, you hear a rumbling sound
Is it coming from the north or south?
coming from the north.
So up here.
Run.
Yeah, I'm sprinting down
Okay.
the other way.
So,
Sprint
what's
up.
your top speed?
Yeah,
Squashed.
that's gonna be the fun bit. 25.
That's his
Okay.
top speed. His top
So
speed
go
is
ahead and
squashed.
move about a square and a half.
Oh god. Ah!
All right, let's see.
Hey, maybe it comes through at like giant head height and I get lucky. Oh, okay.
Suddenly, the moon drops on you.
Oh, his reaction is just like, ah, like, it's just like, son of a. Okay. Oh my god. All right. So,
Next month on D&D, the party
I
rolls new
will at
characters.
least take the satisfaction of knowing I was 100% correct in predicting this.
Yeah, you
okay, it is this
we'll
large.
remind
so
you of that as we're scraping you off the floor.
So this 40-foot diameter sphere of solid granite phases out of the north wall and begins to roll southward down the corridor. Now, it is, let's see, it is rolling this way and it rolls this far in one turn. Okay, now at this point I'm going to have everyone else jump on board and also roll initiative, please.
Okay.
Oh, and more boulders fall from the sky.
No, this is mostly so you can figure out what the hell's going on while they do.
Oh,
I was so far away.
we were like really far away though.
I could move like 4 squares in a sprint. That's it. He's dead. He's just.
Right now, Greta's interested in her fingernails.
I'm still hurting. I'm not that fast right now.
Remember inspirations. Yes, I think inspirations might be useful here. Just like Greta
Oh,
with
God, where's
the
my
Greta with the
initiative?
1. Yeah, just literally Greta's like, I'm whatever. You may Fultus God your own damn way.
Yeah.
Oh! No, it sounds like we have to help him.
Okay, 13 for Rush. River's at a 21 again.
It is.
River is like, it's got to book it like, apparently, and then Celsig had a 19, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But am I
With
faster?
the boulder roll.
Yup.
What did the boulder roll? That is a good question.
22.
Higher than the rest of you except for Celsig. Actually, no, that's not. Well, you can assume that since Celsig went first and the boulder went second, you can take a guess that River probably will go before it also, since she rolled higher than that. I'm literally going to put it in there as boulder. It's got its own initiative track. All right. So that was the boulder. Okay, Urash, you were up next. Now you still haven't even heard anything.
I haven't heard anything.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on.
Unless you... Well, actually, I take that back, because you heard Harshnag yell out. I take that back. So Harshnag is like, what's that?
I will... Oh, God. Oh, well, thematically, I wouldn't sprint over to him. But I want to sprint over to him.
Oh, you gotta stay in character, bro.
Man. So I'm gonna move over to him. So Arv, I need you to pick one of these 4 squares that I'm currently occupying, so I know how many squares I can move.
You can. I'll put you. That's fine. I'll put you like there.
Oh, thank you very much. So my base speed is 40, so that's 2 squares, isn't it?
Yes.
I can move. So I'm gonna move that.
But I mean, you could double move. Oh, is that? But that's on one move. You right? Like.
Yeah, I'm just moving. Normally, I'm gonna ask Harshnag, what did you hear?
And Harshnag says, "There's a rolling sound. Something has happened to the room to the north. Where is Celsig?"
I don't know. I'm gonna guess in the room to the north.
And so Harshnag yells something in Giant, which you have a feeling is probably rather foul, and charges through the doors. Okay. That is going to lead us to Greta.
That's what I was hoping would happen.
Greta, you've just heard this.
I sprint behind them. I have no clue how to save Celsig from something that is rolling, but I will find out.
Okay, if you were to do a double move, top speed, what can you go?
I never filled that in.
This would be a good time. Well, what's your normal speed is probably 25, right?
I never filled that in. I don't know.
Dwarf?
D&D.
Probably 25.
5th edition. How fast does a dove fly?
Should be 25. So,
25 feet walking speed. Base walking speed for dwarf is 25 feet in 5e.
All right, so 50. So if you double move, her speed is 0 at the moment. You could probably get to about here, Greta, like in between these squares, basically, because you're doing half distances essentially.
Move it.
All right, so like here. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is going to lead us to River.
Well.
Oh crap.
Gotta stay in character, brah.
I can move 30.
So that
per
means
turn.
60, which means 3 squares at top
3
speed.
Squares.
Okay.
So I book it to there
Okay.
while screaming, "Celtic's in trouble! We have to go help him!"
The sound echoes alarmingly across the room. Okay, speaking of Celsig being in trouble, montage cut back to Celsig. All right, Celsig, I assume you're double moving, bucking it south.
Dash.
Yeah. So what are you doing?
So I'm going to take my dash action.
Okay, seems logical.
That's, yep.
So that's should double my speed up to 50.
Okay.
Doesn't look like he's going to cut it.
20, so let's say 24. That would put you about here.
About what, here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I think that's
Now the
all I can
boulder
take.
goes.
Yes.
So let's see. That is going to
Now
be
the boulder goes.
Yay, boulder!
20.
Can it miss? Like, is this
I guess we'll find out.
It's a foot. Boulder. It's circular.
It is very circular, yes.
It's very.
It's gonna have-
It's also
And
the
I'm
width
very
of the corridor.
We will
How
never
small?
make it.
How small can you make yourself? Like, could you fit along
It's
one
about
corner of the
time.
corridor?
We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
that or pancake ranger. Do you know what I mean? It's
Urash is up next. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Greta's on deck.
sprinting my ass off, so I can go. That means I can go 80 feet. So my base is 40.
All right.
So 2, 3, 4.
So you could get in front of. You could get here if you wanted.
1. Oh yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah.
We
I
will
like how the
never
room
make
is
it.
so big. There's like I'm coming. It's like
know.
running across, Westminster Abbey. Like, I'm gonna
it's
get
like a stadium.
Yeah. Well, sphere diameter 40 feet. 40 feet, Keurig. So, also moving at speed. So, it's not necessarily gonna be totally even.
Downhill as well.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, Greta, you are up next. You can also, if you wish. Now, if you were gonna do the same thing, 50, that would be, let's see. I think that would work out to about this, like middle of that square.
Is the left door also open or only the right one?
Only the right one right now.
Right.
So I cannot get a line of sight. I'm not sure what I would do with a line of sight. Maybe set something on fire, but
It's more merciful if he dies burning than like
Burn the boulder.
I'll cremate you and I'll skip the middleman.
some people run faster when they're burning.
Afterburners, literally. Oh my god.
I just run towards the door that is open then because I didn't see a way for me to open the other one.
All right, so I'll put you about here, let's say.
Okay. Boop. Can you?
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. That's going to lead us to River.
Still running. Still
Okay.
screaming.
We said 4 squares, or how many squares did we say?
3.
3. Okay, so you can get here. You'll get there shortly after he arrives. All right. Celsig, it's your turn.
Yeah, so I'm going to move 20 feet, so about here. And then I'm going to jump on the ground and press myself right into the corridor, flat against the ground.
Okay. Now, from the way it looks like, you basically have 2 options as you see it. You can try to do that. You can also try to, basically the way it is, like dive between or parkour around it somehow. Like there's not a lot of room, but you can kind of dive below it if you wish. I mean, try to.
Like
So-
turn and face it and aim for the gap.
Yeah,
rather than-
exactly.
Yes, I think an aiming would be better than blindly hoping I'm in the right spot.
If you're going to do that, then you want to turn around and run towards it.
Yeah, well, I want a bit of distance because I need some thinking time. I need to be able to go.
Right, yeah, no, that's fine. But like, then are you
Yeah.
running back towards it?
Yeah, so if we say instead I go 10 feet, so that's probably about here.
Now the rock sphere reveals spikes, right?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and spikes. Okay, so
And
he comes
flame.
running straight towards it. The boulder heads towards you. Now at this point, I'm going to need you to make an acrobatics check. Now,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
going to warn everybody up front. Now, he's got this inspiration from my Kickstarter. This seems like a logical time to use an inspiration. I'm not telling you to use it. I'm just thinking that maybe you might want to,
It's this or reroll.
and actually, yeah.
And
yeah,
next time I get stat points, I'm perking up acrobatics because at least it's based off my deck. It's based off my
Good skill
decks
to
at
have,
least.
man.
yeah.
It's a good skill to have.
If you get stuck because you're carrying too much loot,
He is carrying the toboggan.
slide down the corridor.
I think the incline was big enough. I mean, just slight incline means to me like something like, very slight. Toboggan, you need like that.
There is frost on the ground.
Yeah.
Now you tell him.
Now you're telling him, yeah.
Mostly just because
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
imagining the image of him tobogganing but down in front of a boulder, and I'm
It's
just...
a fun image, but I think
Yeah,
I
maybe
couldn't
not.
have made that happen.
Okay, so go ahead and make your check, and we'll see how this goes.
Put towards it.
I was
increase the
tempted to say, and come back
impact.
next time for the conclusion. Exactly, Mr. Zeno. I won't do that. 20 acrobatics. All right, make a dexterity saving throw. Oh, and actually, wait. You were doing this at inspiration, right? At advantage?
If I have advantage, I'll
Yeah, you
take
do,
it.
because you had inspiration. So, because from my
Right.
Kickstarter. So roll one more time.
Yes.
He already had one echo, so thanks.
Oh no, yeah, I think I'll take the 20.
Okay.
That was a bit
All right.
light. Okay,
So
yes.
now what I need you to do is to make a dexterity saving throw. Now, on this one, you're out of inspiration. So Echo, if you want to inspire Saber now for the dexterity saving throw, we'll see if that happens.
So nervous.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna throw anyway.
No!
So Echo has inspired you.
Okay, can't be worse.
Exactly.
All right. So you dodge below, and so what happens is as you dodge below, literally, you throw yourself to the side, and you hear this terrible crack, and for a moment you're like, "It's my bones," and then you realize that the thing that has saved you is you look at the ruin of a wooden toboggan as this thing is bonked into it and fallen over you. and now continues to roll down the corridor faster and faster and faster and faster. By this point, Harshnag is through the doors, and the thing, as you're looking sort of down, like sort of staring at it, the statue animates and walks forward, and the boulder rams into the hands of the statue, and the statue like slides back with it, and there's a moment's pause of silence, just a moment, and then the statue begins to walk toward you, rolling the boulder in front of it.
Oh, God.
And that is where we're going to bring the session to a close.
Oh my god!
For this evening.
Come back next week to find out.
Come
if
back
the boulder
next
still
month.
gets
If
to
you
the-
think D&D is not exciting, whoop-pow!
Next month.
Oh my god, and actually, Echo, I just want to tell you that you would have taken 10d10 bludgeoning damage if you had not made that saving throw. So, that was kind of important.
To be fair, I could have reduced that by half with a canny dodge.
That you would have taken 50 or less points of damage.
Yeah, I think you still would have become Jam.
Yeah.
Yes, probably. Let everyone scream Indy. Oh my goodness. But we do have to bring this to a close because we got to let Blackheart get going here. This was awesome, guys. This was wonderful. It was tons
so
of
good.
It was so much fun, and I'm really glad Celsig, Saber. I'm really glad that Celsig just did cool stuff. I was really, when I'm like, you're keeping going, I'm like, it's indie time. It was really exciting. Anyway, let me start at the bottom.
I predicted it as well.
You predicted. No, you called it. You absolutely called it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to all of the players. I will start with Chai. I know we need to get out of here. Chai, thank you so much. Good stuff today, although I know there wasn't too much for River specifically to do except get iced. But, she got a lot of stuff that she got to do the time before. So how'd you feel about today, and where will the fine people see you next?
I loved it, as always. I was very stressed. I'm still running toward a door really quickly, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And my next stream will actually be here on Thursday. I will be continuing my Grim Dawn playthrough. There will be vampires, don't worry. And other than that, I look forward to playing D&D again next month.
Awesome. Good stuff as always. Moving right along, Screaming Joypad, great stuff as always. How did you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see you next? Want to make sure I put in my little golem so we're all clear about what he's doing as he gradually pushes the stone up this way towards you. Right. Okay. So yes, where can the fine folks? What did you think about it, and where can the fine folks find you, Mike?
This is always an awesome campaign to play with absolutely fantastic people. Like you say, it just helps the fact that we have a bit of chemistry between us. We're all friends anyway, so it really helps bring the campaign together. I'm already looking forward to the next stream, and I cannot wait. Congratulations on the Kickstarter again, by the way.
Thank you.
Continue to be an inspiration to content creators like myself. Where can people see me next? Well, I'm not streaming often, but when I do stream, I'm going to be streaming stuff like technology centric stuff and computer programming centric stuff. I'm doing a lot with machine learning and artificial intelligence at the moment because it's two spheres of knowledge that I'm trying to learn. If you check out my Twitter, it's MikeSmith_SH. I'm actually doing a public speaking appointment next in a couple of weeks, and I'm doing more stuff like that in technology industry. So yeah, it'd be really cool if people would if you're interested in that sort of stuff, follow me and see if it floats your boat. But that's it. I'm out. My heart is pounding after this session, and I just need to go and relax and not think about Celtic sandwich.
Oh man, he avoided it once. He
Celtic
avoided
is
it
for sausage.
And speaking of Celtic, always a pleasure, Mike. Thank you very much for the kind words, and as always for the excellent play. And of course, speaking of the person who's a sandwich, trying not to be a sandwich, Dark Saber, your life kind of flashed before your eyes there, I bet, a little bit. And how'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see you next?
I was already mentally drawing up a new bard character to join them.
We will not accept bards.
You may not have a choice. So I'll be back on the channel next Sunday. Outside of that, you probably find me at the moment a lot in Lord of the Rings online, harassing other players with a bagpipe minstrel.
Oh, dude, I play some Latro. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, and until next time, thank you for watching.
Thank you, Saber. And we'll be interested to see how Celsig handles things next. That was pretty funny, epic. I love the fact you were saved by the toboggan, at least partially. And last but certainly not least, of course, Pyron, great stuff from Greta as well. I love the fact of the touching and then just lying on the ground for several turns, just being like, I'm still in pain, still in pain. So how'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see you next?
I feel wonderfully about today. It was a wonderful session. I had great fun, and I'm very much looking forward to the next session next month. And I wish it would come earlier. Really, I would.
I know.
And
Same.
I'll be back tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to play Civilization 4, but with the Fall from Heaven 2 mod, where I'm going to play the Color Bim, the vampire race, because we're having 3 vampire-themed days currently. Very mysteriously.
Yes.
I have not played Civ 4 in many, many years, and I have never played the mod before, so it's going to be a lot of fun. What could go wrong?
Yeah, I think it'll be completely fine. I can't see what would go wrong. But again, it was a great pleasure to DM this crew. As always, it was a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this module with all of you, and I really enjoy sort of seeing the way that you folks work with things. It's fun to see, and man, I just cannot wait for next session. I feel the same way. So much love to all of my players. Chat, can we get some love for all the players? Then I'm going to let them go, and then I will get off myself, get done myself, and I'll give over to Blackheart. So bye, everyone. Thank you all so much. Alrighty. So, that was the deal with that. That was great. Oh, wait. No, don't play the music. Don't play the music. Don't play the music yet. It's not time yet. So I'm going to get going from here, but I do want to mention very quickly, I saw that we actually did this just before. I have been talking about my Kickstarter, which I started, which I launched about 4 or 5 hours ago, with Alligator Alley Entertainment. If you like what you saw and you want to see more D&D stuff like it, this is my adventure, which is currently at 1221. So we are 1221, which means we're heading on to a quarter way of goal, 37 backers already, and we only launched about 5 hours ago. If you're interested in checking out more, please head over to my channel. First of all, you can check out that link that Echo was kind enough to post, but you can also head over to my channel at twitch.tv/Arvanelleron, type in !library, and please support it if you can. And if you can't support it, please at least spread the word about it, because we'd love to be able to get more people doing it, and getting awesome sessions like this that we can actually play with other people. This is the one that I've written myself. Alligator Alley is publishing it. It's also a source book. It will have a lot of different material from a lot of different contributors, and I'm super, super excited. It's going to be good times. But I got to get on out of here so that Blackheart can get in here. Thanks to Blackheart for letting us go to 6:30 today, because we arranged that ahead of time because, I mean, of the whole time change thing. And thank you, because I know we're at 6:32, so I'm going to get on out of here. Much love to everyone in chat. Much love to my players. Thank you again to Pyron Jade, to Screaming Joypad, to Darksaber2K, and to Tasty Chai. Wonderful stuff out of the crew as always. And for all of you folks, much love, and I will see all of you next Tuesday on this channel, where I will be continuing Thronebreaker, or on my channel on Friday, where I will be doing something awesome, probably one of the sorcery games, gamebook games. So that should be awesome times. Thanks. That's it for me. Much love to everyone, and support all the things, and I will see all of you wonderful people soon. Stick around now for Blackheart, because he is awesome, and I will be checking out what he's playing too. So everyone stick around, and I'll see you folks soon. Until then, have a good one. Have a good night.